there. Saturday.
And we're live for those of you anxiously awaiting, but you're probably not, since somebody needs to tweet it out and whatever. Hey, Maurice is here. And that's actually him. He's just holding really, really still. Did you see that picture of him? Yeah. But hey, guys, how's it going?
Hey.
And then Keith, you're tweeting it out.
Yes.
Sweet. All right. So yeah, post BGG.CON excitement. Here we are. Yeah. So, Anthony, should we talk about what you missed out on? Anthony's not listening either.
Sure, go ahead. Rub it in my face.
Oh, look, there he is, the mysterious Joe Wiggins. Now, Anthony, you can tell Joe Wiggins exactly where to go. You've waited this moment for so
Joe
long.
Wiggins at Gen.CON.
Yeah, but now we can do it live and in person. You can tell him exactly what you think of him.
I've been telling you to fetch me Joe Wiggins for months, and it took you this long to get him.
Well, here he is.
We couldn't afford his guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
$1,000 an episode or something like that.
It was crazy. We did a GoFundMe for it.
No, it worked. So
there you go. Joe, welcome to the show.
oh, how's it going, guys?
I am quite well. Hey, did you go to you weren't at BGG.CON, were you? No, right?
Wait, I'm sorry.
Were you weren't at BGG.CON this past week?
No, I wasn't there. I wasn't able to go.
Have you ever been?
No, it's one of those ones. It's just like it's too far.
Where do you live?
I live in Cleveland.
Is that really living?
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is in Cleveland.
Rolling into Cleveland.
And they had that Major League movie.
That's in my head right now because he said Cleveland. I watched Major League on the way to BGG.CON.
And the Indians pissed the bed in the World Series.
True.
So there's all that. Jim is unable to make it. He is traveling with no internet capability. So there you go. But anyway, so what's so Keith, give us a rundown of your BGG.CON, like highlights, lowlights. How was it?
BGG.CON this year, 2016, was my favorite convention I've attended, period, at this point. I've liked BGG.CON as my favorite convention, and this one went even smoother than before. Everybody was checked in like an hour and a half this time. It was ridiculously fast compared to years past. I got there early, so I helped cut all the freaking ties off of the library with Lance. That was interesting.
That was fun. And then set up the library, and then we're explaining to them, you want this to go clockwise. No, we don't.
No, we don't. And then when we come back in the room, yes, they did. And they redid it while we were gone. So.
They wanted to set it up basically alphabetical, but not clockwise around the room. They wanted to do it counterclockwise around the room. And I
think a wire got crossed in the instructions somewhere because that's the way it ended up going. But yeah, so we rolled in. We did some of this, some of that. Went and hit the Hard 8 and had some fantastic barbecue. And then I played a mega crap load of games. To be specific, I played 57 games at BGG.CON.
Let me back up for a second. Let me back up for 1 second here. I'm going to say this. I don't think I'll go to the Hard 8 again. Unless there's like a big group of people that I'm good friends with, and they're all like, hey, let's go. Because it takes too long, and by the time you get done, okay, for those of you who are listening who don't know what the Hard 8 is, I suppose you could Google it, but Hard 8 is, well, describe it, Keith. How would you describe the Hard 8?
It's a barbecue joint. You go in,
that's not
there's a pit full of meat, and there's pit full of any kind of meat you want, ribs, pulled pork, brisket, sausage, chicken, turkey, ham, blah, 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 blah. And you pay $15.50 a pound for big chunks of meat, and they weigh it up, and then you get your sides, and then you go sit down and eat. And I really like it, so it's good.
Yeah, but the food was like cold by the time you sit down.
My food wasn't too bad. Mine wasn't a problem.
I don't know. Mine, I don't know. I was
Some of us ate instead of talking.
nice.
You knew you had that coming.
Well,
But-
no, I could.
But
I
you have
could
to go on Tuesday, so you're not wasting con time. And
I went on
the time we went. I know, and that's the best time to go because then you're not wasting good quality gaming time.
I think if you got there at like 3:30, 4 o'clock on Tuesday, it would work best. Because I'll try to explain what I'm thinking of. So you're sitting in line, you're standing there. You finally get to the giant grill where they're keeping everything. They don't technically grill it there because they grill it on the other ones first.
Yes.
And then they bring it over to that other grill, which it's just maintaining it, keeping it warm.
Yeah.
So then you tell them, give me sausage, give me steak, give me whatever, that you want, brisket. And then they put it all in that tray, and then they weigh the tray, and then they give you a little ticket that says how much it costs. And so then they do that. But then it's just basically because of like the people like asking for their sides, and you're stuck in that little line, and it takes you so long to get to the cashier that by the time you get your food, and then honestly they should give you your sides and your drinks and everything first, and then go to the grill. And then like get your meat, and so then you pay for it like almost immediately after getting your meat, and then go. Otherwise, like I said, you stand there for another 10 minutes in the line. I mean, I suppose if it isn't busy, you just go through it really quick. But if it's like during a busy time, you're in that line for another 10, 15 minutes, and by the time you go sit down, your food's cold. I don't know. It was very annoying.
I wasn't in line that long. It took me like 3-4 minutes after I got my meat. It wasn't that bad.
It was that bad. But I don't know. I was annoyed with it. So, I mean, the sausage still tasted good. The brisket still tasted good. But it was like, it was like I was eating a cold meal. And I don't like that. So.
I didn't get to go. So, I did go to Babe's.
What is Babe's? Everybody talked about going to Babe's. We're going to go to Babe's. And I've never been there.
Is that fried
Babe's
chicken place, right?
You got like 3 main courses you get to choose from, and they bring it out to the whole table with a bunch of sides. So we have a place like that called Manel's here, but it's a little fancier. So we just got fried chicken. So they come up with this huge thing of fried chicken that everybody shares, and a bunch of side dishes, and I mean, it was fantastic food without a doubt. Very, very southern. So I recommend it. I mean, it was busy, but we didn't actually have to wait for a table, so it was nice.
I have not heard of it.
Yeah, I've never heard of it either.
Sounds good.
Leaving campus just annoys me. I mean, just because it seems like you're just missing so much of the convention when you go.
Well, that's the biggest part of that convention is you have to go eat anywhere that doesn't cost $3 million, or at least
actually tastes good. I mean, because that hotel food, I mean, man, was that hit and miss. It was just, mostly miss. I mean, the best thing they had on the menu was the food that you couldn't technically order. Because I remember the first time I went, I said, I'll take the turkey club. And so then they brought me this really, really good sandwich. On like turkey, it was stacked high, bacon, tomatoes, cheese. It was really, really good. And it was on marble rye bread. And I was like, this is amazing. And so the next time I ordered it, like they brought me a wrap. And like I guess they were supposed to give out a wrap each time. But then I just said, I thought I was supposed to get this on bread. And they're like, oh, no, it's a wrap. I was like, well, the first time I ordered it was a sandwich. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll make you a sandwich. And then they brought me the sandwich. So basically, I was asking for something that wasn't on the menu, and it was really, really good. And I ate that like 4 times. It was fantastic.
Right.
But yeah, those buffets were tasteless chicken and
I had some good stuff when I get the right things. The brisket
the
was
taco
decent.
bar wasn't bad, and their burgers weren't bad. But other than that, the rest of it was pretty. I mean, if you went up into the restaurant and ordered the burger, not the burger that was down in the walkthrough line thing. But yeah, I spent more on food this convention than I have at any other. Just because.
Yeah, that's the one drawback to the con. That's the one that I'll get. That's the one knock I'll give it. And in 3 years, it'll be fixed.
Isn't that why most people say that Origins is the best con, just because it has that perfect mix of gaming and convention hall and food right there?
That North Market is to die for. I mean, so good.
I drive to Columbus sometimes on a Sunday afternoon just to eat there. It's so great.
Yeah, Origins is my second favorite con for the food and the balance. not Gen Con crazy, insane. It doesn't quite have the gaming of BGG.CON, but it is a good happy medium. So it hits that sweet middle spot.
Yeah. And you can't lose with the food. The food's amazing.
Yeah, the food is amazing at Origins. It wins the con food battle without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus like the convention, and like now I think it's going to change. So I think like we've talked about this before, but it's getting to that point where it's big. It's getting bigger. Like I mean, like not this year, but the year before. Like you could sign up for a hotel room 3-4 days later, and you were still getting a hotel room near the convention. In less than an hour, all the close by hotels were sold out at Origins this year.
Okay.
And like
last year it went that fast too, but.
Well, I mean, it just seemed like it was like now this coming year, you know what, they're just going to be gone in like.
For those who don't care, I recommend they do what I did because I saved a crap ton of money and it really wasn't any much more than inconvenient. But I just got an Airbnb and I paid $40 a night.
Where did you stay?
At an Airbnb.
What the hell is an Airbnb?
Where people rent out rooms or houses or whatever for people who are traveling.
I don't even know what that is.
Really?
And apparently Maurice is running some sort of a drone in the background or something.
No, that ain't me.
What was that?
No drone. That's not me.
I actually did the same thing that you did, Dave, for Gen Con. I got on a website that was like Indianapolis Board Gamers, and I was like, hey, I want to go to Gen Con, and I'm not a crazy psycho murderer, so me and my wife are kind of looking for people that maybe you would be like, hey, we can stay with you. And these people like contacted me, and we FaceTimed each other, and they were like, yeah, you can stay with us, and they live like 10 minutes from downtown, and so it was perfect. I bought him a couple board games,
and it all only cost you a kidney. It was great. You woke up in a bathtub full of ice, and
yep.
Don't stay at a hostel, that's for sure.
It worked well. I mean, the house I had that I was in was huge. I mean, it was absolutely huge. It had a pool. It was super, super nice. The owners were really nice.
75 other guys in jumpsuits running around.
Huh?
And
I said 75 guys in jumpsuits running around. You were at a MinSec. That's where you were, a MinSec prison.
What was odd was that you weren't there this time. What happened?
I got out. Good behavior.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they call that good behavior.
Okay, for those of you who don't know who Maurice is David's partner in crime over at Club Fantasy. So, Maurice, just give us your minute-long bio and why you're here. You're here to hang out, obviously, but
Dave beats me and makes me write a lot of stuff for him.
Yes.
But I've been writing for Dave at Club Fantasy for about 2.5 years, covering board games and a couple of RPGs as well, but generally all board games. Good short pitch, right?
Maurice is our Kickstarter guru. He handles all the Kickstarter crap.
Yeah, Kickstarter, mainly Kickstarters, but also published games as well. Yep. And that is not me with the drone. I think that might be Anthony.
Who is monitoring us? I want to know. Somebody is.
You will be assimilated.
Nice.
What Maurice didn't tell you is he's buying the house next door to me, so he can play all those GMT games that are on his shelf together.
Yes, and I got a couple more in the today.
Yes.
I got Silver Bayonet and I got Triumph and Tragedy 2nd edition update kit. So,
Question is, did they send them to you, or did you have to buy them?
no, I bought them.
Okay.
That's the
I'm not
hardest
like
thing
you.
with those
I don't get
GMT
everything
games.
sent to me. I said I'm not like you. I don't get everything sent to me.
I don't get everything sent to me. I don't have any of the new stuff that's out. Come on now. That's all.
That's the other
all over there, and Lance that gets all that crap.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well. Okay. So. I'll talk. I know. I mean, we can talk a little bit about all of the stuff we did, but this is the game I played more of than any other game at BGG.
Can't see it.
Oh, sorry. Here, hold on.
There you go.
So this is Not Alone from Geek Attitude Games. I played a lot of games as well. I played a lot of prototypes. Played a lot of games that TMG is thinking about publishing in the future. I played some of Seth's stuff, but Not Alone was I played that, and probably the second most game I played was Insider. Okay, so quick rundowns of both games. I don't have a copy of Insider because I can't find it. But okay, so Not Alone is a one against many game where one person plays the alien hive mind planet or whatever, and everybody else plays an astronaut that has crash landed on that planet. And so basically, it's a chase between the astronauts trying to stay alive and not be assimilated by the planet long enough for their rescue rocket ship to show up, and then the alien is trying to assimilate all of the astronauts. And so basically, the board is just a strip, and each of their little markers are basically move their way into the middle of the board, where the basically kind of not exactly the middle, but close to the middle is where you're both trying to get to. So there are different locations. The astronauts start with 5 different locations they can go to. As they progress through the game and get rewards, they get more locations they can go to. Each location has a specific power that you can enact by going there, and you can take that power. But when you play one of your cards that you have in a hand, and you put it down, and that's where you go. But you can't collect the cards normally until you use another power. Or there's other ways. I'm not going to go too deep into it. But basically, everybody puts a card face down in front of them, and then the alien player normally gets to pick one card, and they reveal the one card. Or no, they don't have a card. They have tokens, and then they put them on the face-up cards that are in front of them. So they put a token as to where the alien's going to go and try to track down the people. And if they guess right, then they start assimilating the aliens, and they move closer towards assimilating everybody. And so it's a very, very good. It's very tension filled. I like games that have reveal moments where it's and also having to kind of play against people. The players can't wander off and discuss strategy. All discussions have to happen in front of the alien player because they're omniscient. They control the whole planet, and so they get to have that ability to listen in on any strategies. But of course, then you get the whole "you think, I think that you think" kind of thing going on as well. So very fun. Most games came down to literally the last turn that I played. So.
Yep.
I'll say this: if you aren't somebody that doesn't I just played an hour of a game and then it comes down to a flip of a coin situation at the end. If you don't like that, you're not going to like this game. But if you're a person that's going to enjoy the game, win or lose, and because of the story that it gives and just kind of the choices and the tension, and then then I think you'll really, really enjoy it. And I was excited about that one.
It's a solid game. I played it twice.
Yeah.
Enjoyed both times.
Yeah, I mean, I played it 7 times, 8 times, and because we're evaluating it. I mean, TMG is we're thinking about. They've reached out to us, about the possibility of partnering up for it, and so we were evaluating it. I'll fully admit that after the 7th or 8th time, I was kind of going through the motions at that moment, as we're still going through. But I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of the worst person to ask that question because usually about 2 plays into a game, I'm done. I'm just okay, I don't want to play that again.
Yeah, that's not a game I'd want to play 5 times in a con, but twice was fine.
And then the other one, and then I'll let everybody talk about some other games or whatever. And if Anthony played any games recently, he can do so as well and talk about games he's played. But I played Insider, which
I played 14 times.
So Insider, and then I'm going to talk about my feelings on it because I played it 4 times, and I want Keith to give me his thoughts on Insider. So, brief rundown. It's 20 questions with werewolf is my summation of what Insider is. So the way the game works, Cat, get out of here. The way the game works is that you hand out a tile to everybody. The tile's either going to have just basically you're a commoner, or you're the master, or you're the insider. Okay, so the master reveals his token, says I'm the master, and then, which I think is a dumb name. Unless maybe I don't know the theme, but I just like it's like it just seems like a stupid name to give yourself. But so they reveal, and then there's a deck of cards, and the guy takes the top, or girl takes the top card off and puts it down, and then on there's 6 numbers, and by each number there is a word. Then the top card that's left on the deck has a number on it, and then that says like number 3, and number 3 is a telescope. So they know that the secret word is telescope. So they then close their eyes. They tell the insider to open their eyes. The insider opens their eyes, sees the thing. They close their eyes, and then the master opens their eyes, takes the card, puts it back on top. So that's a really good aspect, actually, because there's no rustling, there's no movement, there's no nothing. I mean, basically, open your eyes, you see it, and you close your eyes. So the master person does all the moving, so nobody can kind of game the game that way. So then, basically, they take a timer and they turn the timer over. I think it's at a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I don't know.
It's longer than that. It's at least 3 to 4 minutes.
So they turn, they turn the timer over, and basically everybody gets to start asking questions that are answered with yes or no. There seems to be some differences as far as that goes, like as far as, because you can ask a question where it's like the answer is sometimes, so so it's kind of tough. But basically, it starts with that whole thing: is it a person? No. Is it a place? No. Is it a thing? Yes. Okay. And so you start wheedling it down. And the whole goal is that nobody wins, including the insider. Nobody wins if the time runs out. So the insider needs to try to push as subtly as possible, push the people towards the answer as best as they can. Because once you guess it correctly, if you guess it correctly, the first thing that happens is everybody votes and decides if they think the person who got it correctly. So the person says, it's a telescope. They have to then vote immediately as to whether they think that person is the insider. Now, so if they decide no, if they vote no, that person turns their tile over. If they were the insider wins. If they aren't, you get one more vote to find the insider out of everybody else. And basically, so if the insider can stay hidden and they can't figure out who it is, and they can't make the vote, then the insider wins. If the other people find the insider, then they win. Couple things. I don't think I played it enough, honestly, because it took me at least 2 plays to really kind of figure out exactly what the insider should be doing. Sometimes the insider doesn't want to give themselves away. So I was trying to figure out what the insiders what they should do, because like when it was the telescope, that's an actual word we had. Like I was a commoner. And we were talking about like farm equipment. Like we were trying to we went down some rabbit hole and we just couldn't get out of it. We were all in the same mentality. And then I forget who the person was, but they said, is it something used in science? Like they said that, and then like the person said yes, and so then oh my gosh, so we got out of that rabbit hole. We had like 30 seconds left, and we started asking questions, and somehow we got to telescope. Like I think somebody said microscope, no, and then somebody said, "Is it something?" Because like they said, is it something you look through? Yes. Is it a microscope? No. Is it a telescope? Yes. Okay. So bam, but we all said, like the person who got it right, we're like, he isn't the insider, but it was JR. JR is most definitely the insider, and he was, because he pulled us out of the rabbit hole. I think the game's fun just because it's kind of interesting, but we never had a game where the insider won, and I don't know if that was just because we didn't have good people that were playing the insider smart, or
the insider won most of our games.
Yeah, well then, because maybe they
unless I was the insider, in which case I always lost when I was the insider.
Well, okay, so Keith, you go now next, and you talk about what you did, and
I mean, it's an interesting game. It's it's an Oink game, so it's the little bitty tiny box, right? Uh-huh. So if anybody's familiar with Oink games, so think of it as almost their follow-up to the drawing game that they did.
Fake Artist.
Yeah, the Fake Artist. But it is truly 20 questions / werewolf type of game. I find that with a full group, it seems to be much easier for the insider to hide, because you've got the sheer volume of questions flying out there to try to narrow in on it.
that the insider may not have to give themselves up. And I guess a good insider is going to throw out that subtle clue to get somebody on track, but then throw out a bunch of really stupid-ass questions that don't make sense afterwards so that you think that they were just a blind squirrel finding a nut type of thing. But like one of them I blew, it was marathon was the word. And it's funny because I actually said, is it a place, as one thing when I was the insider, hoping to get a yes out of the master, who said no, right? And marathon is actually a place, but it's also an event, a sporting event. So I was hoping to get us in backdoor into it, but it didn't work. And everybody got so far off, and finally the question that ended up giving me away but got people on the track was, is it an event? Because they knew it wasn't physical. They just could not get toward a sporting event to get to something. But you'd run in a lot of situations. And the one time I really failed as the insider was when I could not see the word from where I was sitting, and if I moved, I would have gave myself away. So I was just hoping we could get the word by sheer luck, and we did not, so we all lost. But I think it's a cool game. I don't think it's a great game, but I think it's definitely a fun social experience type of game. But I found that it's usually in a large group, it's easier for the insider. In a small group, I'm guessing it's probably harder. But the smallest group I played with was 7 people. So. But Aldi had that thing hooked to him the entire con. I bet you Aldi played that thing 40 times.
He played that Not Alone more than anything, really.
I played Not Alone with him, but the 14 games of Insider I played were all with Aldi. And I know he played it more than that.
I don't know. So that's that. What else did you play? You said you played 87 games or whatever. What else?
I played 57 games. I played several games of Fabled Fruit, which I think is a cool little worker placement-y type game. I don't know about the Fabled thing with it, but it's a fun enough little game, and it's pretty quick. Anything else of note? I played Fuji Flush, which sold out, and people were picking up, and I didn't like it.
That's that little tiny card game, right?
Yeah, it's a little tiny card game, and it just did not click for me.
I've heard a lot of people say that it was just like they played it and they're just like, okay.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was. I played Lorenzo Il Magnifico, and I will buy that sucker as soon as I can get a hold of it.
Was it good? Was it good?
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know that I like the character cards that are the optional variant, where you have kind of a little goal to achieve, which unlocks a power for you, because I think those may be a bit unbalancing, depending on what draft you get. But the core game, I actually really like.
I got the absolute last copy that Fun Again had that they weren't even going to plan on selling because the box literally looked like somebody had dropped a weight on it.
Yeah.
But I was just like, it was one of those things where, I talked to Jeff at Fun Again and he gave me a decent deal on it for Ding and Dent. And, I mean, I'm usually really, really particular about my boxes and as far as, their condition. But I had a few people say that the game was pretty amazing. So I was just like, and it was like a dice Euro. So I was just like, you know what? That's fine. I will suck it up and just have a kind of a crushed box. And I opened it up, and Jeff let me open it up and look inside to make sure that it was fine. So it wasn't too bad off there.
I tried La Granja No Siesta, the dice game, and I didn't like it. Especially we played it 2-player, and it just depends on how often siestas come up in your dice rolls. But we both finished our entire player mat, which made it seem like every decision we made was useless through the entire game, and so that's a game I don't need to play again.
Oh, well, that doesn't sound good because I actually bought one of those.
Yeah, you may find a different experience with it because it is going to depend on how many times you roll the stupid little hat symbol of how quickly the game goes and how important your decisions are. I played Camel Up the card game, which I actually like it better than Camel Up, which I know other people don't.
Well, I don't even like Camel Up, so
yeah, it actually makes you think more gamery because basically you're constructing a deck that's going to be what determines how the camels run when you're betting on them than random dice. And you're eliminating about half the cards from this deck. And only you know what you eliminated, and your opponents know what they eliminated. But you have a manipulation over that betting pool, or that how the race is going to come out when you bet on it. So it made it an interesting type of little card game. I think it's actually better than Camel Up from my point of view. I finally tried Mystic Vale and hated it. I played Oracle of Delphi, which I liked, and I'm glad I bought it. I wasn't going to buy it until after I played it, but I decided to give it a try. It has the typical Feld mechanicisms that I like, but no point salad because it's a straightforward race with a pick up and deliver race, and it was actually a fun little game. I don't think it's nearly the heaviest Feld I've played. It's very straightforward, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah, that might be. I mean, because I'm not. This is. I mean, it's obviously because it's being printed by us. Maybe it was. It was. What was? It was. I'm not a big Feld guy. He lost me at Bora Bora. Just because I thought that Bora Bora was like kind of really, and I might be wrong, and somebody's gonna say, "No, you're wrong." But I mean, it's like. I felt Bora Bora was really the beginning of his huge point salad times. So I kind of fell out of favor with Feld, but I like this one just because it doesn't feel like Feld. I'm still not going back. I did actually play that Jorvik or whatever it is from Stronghold, which is basically Schweikerstadt and Kaispeicher. But with a Viking feel, and I played it with Maurice and his lovely wife.
Yes,
and
we were just talking about that a little while ago when she asked about the tattoo on your left arm and the look on her face.
Yeah, that was very, very sick humor on my part. So I shouldn't have.
No, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, no. But anyway, so. No, so that wasn't bad. I mean, like I said, but they didn't do anything different. It's Spikerstadt and Kaispeicher put together, but just in one thing. Admittedly, the theme was a way more interesting than you are a fireman during the warehouse age of Germany. Just like what, So, but I've always liked bidding games. I enjoy those, so I knew I was going to enjoy that. I think I won that game, didn't I? Or I came close, and somebody we made a rule mistake or something, and yeah. I got hammered out of 2 points, and I would have won without those. So
yeah, you lost by 1 point, and it was that rule mistake earlier on where I think you were away from the table, and we came back, and the guy took that point, the 2 points, and you said, "Well, we'll have to remember this if I lose by a point later on," and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, so I won. I guess is the most important thing to remember in that situation is that.
So that's why he likes it now.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, it's well. The thing is I played Spikerstadt and Kaispeicher. I mean, probably 30 times. It's one of my favorite games. So once I was able to kind of transmogrify the differences, over and I was figuring out what exactly I wanted to do. I'm pretty good at that game, not because I play games well, but just repetition. So I kind of, I don't know. That game's in my wheelhouse as far as that goes. So
yeah, it was a pretty neat game. I liked it too.
Yeah, and since Spikerstadt and Kaispeicher are long since out of print, if you want to play those, then there you go. Anthony, is he there? Not paying any attention. He wandered off.
I'm here.
Oh, so what did you play last week? What games did you play last week, buddy?
What did I play? I played Adrenaline.
All right, so now Adrenaline was hugely popular at Ye Ol convention. What did you think?
I loved it.
What do you like about it?
I like the fact that it's different. It's fast. It's just fun and silly and stupid. But it's not Frag. That's the best part about it. It's not Frag.
Oh, well, Frag wasn't bad for its time, but Frag is a very old game. I mean, seriously, it's old.
Yeah, it's definitely, though, my one thing about the game is It says in the box 3 to 5. You can't play that with 3. You need at least 4. 5 is better.
Yeah. So it's what do you say? You like it because it's fast and it's different?
Yeah, it's fun.
That's what your wife's looking for.
Oh, dang.
Why do you have to go there? Why are you going to go there? What are you? 13?
Yeah,
14.
14. Please. Jeez.
Gonna come over and talk about my mother next? Maybe like come kick my dog.
I did. There were like, and this is. I'm being completely honest here. There were like a handful of times, like a half a dozen times, where I was like, I was telling myself a joke and I was laughing and giggling at it, and I was like, "Oh, Anthony needs to be here," because I would have said that out loud to him, and we would have been like, we would. Oh yeah, there were many times when I wish you were there.
I got a few texts.
Just yeah, man. It was good. Saturday night was a good night. That was the drunk night. That was and that was like that's like my one time a year. I think. Like I mean I don't really drink to excess anymore. But man, Saturday night was rough. That was a good time. That was the Scotch night that ran into Bart and Uwe Eichert. Yeah, good stuff. Good times.
You mean Uwe?
All about that.
You mean Uwe?
Uwe
Uva.
Longla? No, yeah, I mean, but
his name means grapes.
yes. So what else did you play besides Adrenaline?
I played Adrenaline. I played Great Western Trail. I played. Let's see, what else did I play last week? I played a couple of games that came out last year that I had mixed feelings on. I played the Papa Paulo.
What'd you think about that?
It's different. I like the fact that it's about pizza delivery. If it was about something else, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much. But it's not doing anything vastly different. The bidding portion of it is a little weird. It makes sense when you kind of look at it, but it's still kind of weird. I don't know about replayability on it, just because the fact that the auction, when you do the auction to see how many pizzas you'll be able to deliver that round, and the distance and all that, they do not change. It's not random. So the same one's going to come up every time in each round in the same order. So once you've played the game several times, okay, I need to deliver 6 pizzas on this turn. It's going to come up in the 4th slot. I need to have at least this much money to guarantee that I win that slot. And that's kind of those things in games I don't like. I don't like that thing where it's like, oh, okay, this is the plan. I'm going to do this and this and this. And in turn 3, I'm going to go grab that tile because it's going to be there.
At Essen, I know a lot of people were like super excited about the Papa Paulo game. And then a lot of people I know got it, and then nobody's been talking about it. So that kind of like struck me as a bad thing. Like nobody wanted to say anything about it. And they're like, it was a game. And so that just kind of struck me as like, I guess it wasn't that good.
It's an $80 price tag on that game. That game is not worth $80. There's not $80 worth of fun in that box. Paul from my show got a copy from someone who bought it at Essen, stickered it, and he played it once, and then they got rid of it. He bought it for $50. For $50, it wasn't so bad because he didn't have to sticker all those little tiny blocks. But I still don't think there's $50 worth of fun in that box. Yeah. It's a fun game, but yeah, not for the price.
Is this the convention that you got to play Indonesia at?
No, Indonesia was the one before that. We played a lot of draft this past week.
Okay, because I just listened to your podcast and I heard you talking about Indonesia, and that's like my #1 game of all time. And I was like, oh, sweet.
Why do you hate yourself? Why do you hate yourself if that's your #1 game of all time?
It's so good. It's like there's a dance to that game. There's such a rhythm and a balance with the economy, and it's just like the way you do things and when you trigger things, and just the flow of the game is just, it's beautiful. I love that game.
Well, that's why you're not a regular. Anyway,
I played Colony. I see it sitting behind you.
You played what?
Colony.
Oh, yeah. Colony, what'd you think of that?
It's a game.
It is a game.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of The Colonists. That was the big box one that Mayfair put out. I had a Clay from Capstone brought that back for me for Eston.
That doesn't come out until like late December, maybe early January, when regulars can get it.
Yeah, and he picked up a copy for me. He's like, "I'll bring you one thing back," and that was what I asked him for. And he's like, "It might be too big, but he got it for me." And it's easily my game of the year. It's phenomenal.
I talked to many people who said that it was really boring. It was just like it wasn't anything special.
I mean, I guess the way I could describe it best is it's like roads and boats, but instead of the logistics aspect, it's all infrastructure that you're managing. So you have like jobs that you have to get for people, and you're managing stuff. And I could see people that that don't enjoy that style of gaming. Fun? Yeah, fun is a relative thing, isn't it?
No, I am the adjudicator of fun. That's okay. Yeah, so that's one thing you have to remember.
You should send Joe a copy of Jab so you can have some fun.
There you go. Well, we'll get you Jab, and then you'll know fun.
There you go. I can play Jab and Flip City, make it a two-parter.
Yeah.
Hey, what other game did you get, Lance?
What now?
What other game did you get?
I don't know. Somebody left a game of StarCraft lying around, so I just grabbed it. I mean, he's probably looking for it now. Yeah, so no, David Lowery was a beautiful human being, and he flat out gave me his big box of StarCraft unpunched. So I made sure that got packed up and wrapped up in my clothes, and I brought it home personally. Almost everything else I shipped home. But that made sure it came home. And I took a look at it, and it is still beautiful and wonderful. I'll be able to play that again, maybe sometime soon, actually. I got a buddy who that's like his favorite game in the whole wide world. I had to find somebody who has the expansion that isn't going to try to jab me for like $200 for the expansion. So I got to see if I can somehow snag one of those. It's really tough to find just the expansion because everybody already like moved it into with their game.
Sells it in parts, yeah.
Yeah, so
package.
So like if you want to actually get like the Brood Queen expansion, it's like $200, $300 sometimes just because it's.
Aren't there two?
Yeah,
two
expansions. There's the other one, which is the Hurricane, which is the little mini expansion thing. It's like one board.
Well, yeah, it was given out. It was given out at like a BlizzCon, like as like a little. I don't even know what it was. It was just basically like this. Yeah, it was called the Typhoon. The Typhoon.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And it was a planet. And something on like 2 cards or something like that, and people always want like $100 for it or something ridiculous, which I could care less if I ever got that. I mean, I wouldn't say no if somebody said, "Hey, are you going to have it?" But finding the Brood Queen expansion is kind of one of those things I want to try to figure out.
We've become like the Pay It Forward Club. I gave David a copy of Tides of Iron.
No,
at Gen.Con. He gave you a copy of StarCraft at BGG.CON.
Well, I'll tell you that I actually at the flea market I snagged an unpunched copy of City of Chaos, and I am not ever giving that up. That's been a grail for about 7 years for me.
I saw you post that, and I'm like, I don't even know what game that was. I had to go look it up.
Oh, it was just one of those things where it was like. It was one of those things where they it's by some little tiny publisher. It was their only game ever, just like one of those weird things, and it total throwback game, incomprehensible rules. Apparently there's like a rule book that you can download from BGG that like makes it a lot better. It's got a storybook on the inside, so it's like you'll have things where you'll run into people and like you have to turn to turn to number 73 and read off the thing that you interact with, and then figure out how you're gonna. I mean, now is it any good? I don't know. I mean, maybe, but it's one of those things where it's just like I always saw it. Everybody always talked about it as like this like kind of if you like Arkham Horror and you like insanity games, then you'll like this. That was always kind of like the thing, and so I went into. Like the year before, I had totally missed the flea market, and I went in there, and so I really wanted to go to the flea market, and so because I wanted to see what was in there, and I ended up paying probably too much for that. I mean, but I went online, and I looked, and I paid way less than what people are asking for online. Now, whether or not they're Whether or not they get those, you know, or whatever, you know, get that money, I don't know. But I mean, I definitely did not pay as much as what people are asking for. I still probably paid too much.
$250 for a very good first edition.
I assure you, I did not pay $250. I paid significantly less than that, but I definitely paid. I paid 3 figures, but I paid significantly less than 250.
All right. Well, the last copy that sold on BGG sold for €80 in like new condition, and that was.
So they paid around 105 bucks for it or something.
That's in August.
So I mean, I paid right around there. So yes. So I guess I got like the best deal I possibly could. No, so I was really excited about that. I picked up Kog, which is like a Rhiannon Lee's like favorite game in the entire world. Somebody wanted $5 for that. I was like, when am I going to get a what?
$499
for the Brood Queen expansion?
No, just for the base game.
Oh yeah, sucker. Ooh. That you'll see that the user ID is Undead Viking for that one. By the way.
No. I mean, it was, you know, I got you paid it forward. You got me a badge into the con at the last minute, so it's all good.
Yeah. No, I got Cog. I got a couple of other like really really old school. I got a couple of really old school. You know, like the old like really dense rules like fantasy games that I used to play when I was a kid. You know, or a friend of mine had. So I got a couple of those too, like Eat Electric Death. You know, I haven't had a copy of Eat Electric Death in. I haven't played that since I was in high school. But some guy wanted $5 for it. It was all beat up, but I was like, fine, $5. I'll get Eat Electric Death for $5. There was another one too. Oh, like the Sorcerer Kings. If I remember, was that one? It was an old Avalon Hill game, I think, if I remember correctly. But very, very Titan-esque as far as the game goes. It was like, you know, it was like kind of almost a different version of Titan. Once again, somebody wanted $5 for it. I was like, all right, that's cool. I'll get that. So yes, Flea Market was a high point for me. It was a lot of fun. I went to the charity auction that they run. I did not know what to expect for that, and that was a good time actually. I ended up winning a few things there. Like one of the things I got was a couple of things I got were just I got some. Michael Fox told me that the game was amazing. I was just like, I have no idea what that is, and he was like, really, really dense Euro that nobody knows exists. That it was Sigismundus Augustus de Gracia Rex Pollinae is like
little puppy.
Oh yeah, that's my dog. Which is like this. During each player rules one of the 16th century noble families. The aim is to establish the position of the house in Rex Politia in the international arena to gain more prestige than the other players and win the game. Each house has to fight for the influence for authority among neighbors. You know, it's just some really.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sold.
Michael Fox said the game's amazing. He said that it is just supremely dense. He was just like, it was.
What the hell is this game called?
Say it again because I'm going to write it down.
Sigismundus Augustus de Gracia Rex Pollinae is what it is.
I'm sure I can find it if I just write down Sigismundus.
I found it. Sigismundus.
Type in Augustus and you can find it.
It's that's how I found it. SIGISMUDNUDUS, all one word.
So it came up and I was like, and then so then Michael Fox was sitting behind me and he yelled out, somebody's like, how do you describe this? And nobody knew what it was. And then he said, he's like, think Game of Thrones Euro in 16th century Poland. And I was like, fine. I was just like, I'll go for it. And I got that, for a decent price. And then the one thing I saw that I was like, thinking about getting was they had, and this was like it was Black Plague Zombicide, but it was like the pledge where like a Kickstarter pledge where you get everything, like, you know, so like all the exclusive stuff and everything like that. And I was just like, you know, I was just like trying to figure out if that was worth. And I in my head, I said how much I'd pay for it, and I said I'd pay X for that. And so then the way they run their auctions is you just hold up your little sticker or whatever, or your little stick with your number on it, and you hold it up, and then the JR who runs it just kind of goes through and keeps raising the price and raising the price and raising the price until you're the only person that's holding up your thing. And so then so I won that, and I got that for like $160, which was actually way less than what I said I was willing to pay. I think it was kind of one of those things where everybody had spent a lot of money already, and it was one of the last few items. And I was
bought
just
that
like,
game. It was worth it.
Yeah, so I bought it because I never really was a big fan of the Zombicide, just because I thought it was just kind of like, it was okay, and I owned some Zombicide, but then I was like, that actually looks kind of cool with, like, you know, it actually being in like medieval Europe and things like that, you know. And so I was like, so D&D Zombicide, I was like, that sounds actually kind of neat, so I did that.
It was worth it because I got it for like $200 and sold it for like $450. So
you're that guy.
Yeah, I'm that guy. It's free money.
Yeah, it is weird how, like, I remember I talked to Pete Shirey, like the Cool Mini or Not guy, and I flat out said, it seems to me like you should back everything you guys do that has Kickstarter exclusives. Just like buy it twice, because the second one will pay for the first one.
That's what I do with season 2.
Well, I've done that for quite a few of the CMON Kickstarters now, and Arcadia Quest Inferno, which I'm going to get sometime in January, is going to be the last one I do, because it's the well on that is just drying up because so many people back it that there's just not. I mean, so many people are trying to flip them that there's just not the type of money that there used to be.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, because a lot of people backed the first one, but the way the prices went up on everything, a ton of people backed the second one, and most of them, a good number of them bought 2 of everything. And being able to sell it quick enough before
Cool Mini quit being as exclusive as they used to be, because they used to. I mean, that was it. If you back the Kickstarter, you know, the Zombicide Season 1, and then some of the first Arcadia Quest stuff. If you didn't back the Kickstarter, you didn't get it. And now, like, they give that stuff away at conventions when you buy the games, and so it's not as exclusive as it used to be, and not nearly as rare. And plus, there's 10 times as many copies floating around on the market. So it's been a watered down thing, and it's just not worth doing anymore. So I'm going to quit doing it. It's not worth the time to make $100 off of it.
I feel so bad for you.
Zombie speculation.
Well, like, right now, the Conan one, there's like literally hundreds of them up for sale. Because people either backed it and just backed it to back it to resell it, or they bought a second copy. And
what are they going for? Because I didn't back that one.
Well, they're asking all different prices for it. Some people, I think, are at the point where they're just like, you know what, I just want to get my money back.
I feel really bad for the people that got in on that Kingdom Death Monster, and then people were flipping that thing for like $1,500, and people were paying for it. And now there's going to be a second Kickstarter where you can just get the game for like $200 or whatever.
I don't feel sorry for anybody that pays $1,500 for a game.
What time does that Kickstarter go live on Friday? Everybody's getting all excited for.
Which one?
Kingdom Death Monster.
Oh, I'm not excited for it.
No, not sure. Not sure, but I know it goes live on Friday. So
no idea. I'm not backing it. Don't care how good it is.
This is the one thing about the Kickstarter thing that drives me nuts.
One thing.
Well, this is one of the things. I'll say. So what's the new one? The Mythic Battles.
Yeah.
Really cool. I'm down for it. My thing with this is the same thing that CMON did when they did the Blood Rage one. Is they have the add-on expansions that, if you get them with the Kickstarter, comes with one exclusive figure.
That's how they get you.
But it's like, do I really need that one? It's not even like a really great figure.
The CMON doesn't do that anymore, do they?
No, they did, and then they did it for Blood Rage. So if you bought the 5th player expansion in the Kickstarter, you got the upgrade thing. You got an extra character thing, and you got upgrades to the player pieces too, like the scoring track things and stuff.
Oh, you got the upgraded player pieces then, right?
But yeah, they've done that. They've done that in a couple things where if you buy it, it comes you get something extra.
Yeah, that's like the Cool Mini thing where they have that $30 add-on box which you can get retail, but then there's that one guy if you get it with the Kickstarter that you won't be able to get otherwise. They've got it down to a science.
It's. I mean, they don't go into it trying to lose money.
No, of course not. I mean, I don't blame them for trying to, do well. I'm totally fine with it. I will say though, as far as what's on Kickstarter right now, Feudum is one of the best looking games I've seen in a long time, at least as far as like original design, original gameplay. That thing looks amazing. I'm really excited for that.
It does.
I know somebody who reviewed that recently.
Well, that guy sucks. But anyway.
Wow.
That board, how big that board is! That's just so different. I like how he just made it wide and short, and it's a stupid thing, but I'm like, I like that he did something different with it.
Wide.
Yeah.
No, it was it is really good. It is a heavy throw. And it is
because that's what it looks medium weight, but people have been saying it's heavy, and so I'm excited about it.
It's kind of like Madeira in the way that like it doesn't really make sense how like certain actions will lead you to points because you have to connect so many different things to get to that that thing. So it's tough.
And now that you say that, even just looking at it, I can see a lot of Madeira aspects in it as far as that goes. No. Like just like the complication of the board and what you're looking at.
And there's a few things he could make better. I actually ran into Mark Swanson at the designer at BGG.CON, and I even told him, I said, there's these parts in the board that he needs to make like certain iconography on the board much more noticeable, because it's like it bogs down a little bit because you're like searching for certain things on the board to like tell you what to do in certain things, and I mean, familiarity, you'll breed that a little bit by repeated plays, but at first we're just like, so we're looking for a little P. Does anybody see a P by any of these? You're sitting there staring around and like you can't find the letter anywhere, and then like 2 rounds later, like, oh, there's a P right here too. We should have put a cube here. Oh.
And also, I heard an interview that the guy that did all the art also did all the iconography, and he's never done a board game before. This is his first board game, and so that's probably something that he's just not as cued in on, and if he does more board games, he'll probably get better at. So,
hey, breathe long enough for Bart to say hi.
Yeah, hey, Bart, how's it going, buddy?
What are you doing? I just muted myself. I was almost wishing I had the popcorn there that the other gentleman has.
You're welcome to it.
Send it.
Got Parmesan cheese on it and everything.
Hello. Wow. You're killing me there. I got a little scotch. I'm good to go.
I do apologize that we did not touch base on that evening. It was a weird night, and the night kind of got away with us. So I feel bad that I didn't hook up with you and Doc and your other buddies. So.
No, you were good. The night before that was phenomenal. Saturdays are always like that. I figured if we cross paths, and like I said, I turned in early because I was tired from being up the night before. BGG.CON.
Yeah. That was cool. That was like, it was weird. I had been told by Seth Jaffe, hey, I'm playing games up on the 12th floor, and like I want you to come and check out the stuff. Well, things happen and whatever, and you just kind of lose track of things. And so I ended up going up there after he had long since gone to bed, but I poked my head in, and there's Bart in there with his cronies drinking. And so like it was like 12:30 at night, and I was like, oh, I'll check and see what Seth's doing. Oh. And then 12:30 became like 3:30, really quickly. So
3:30 really fast.
But it was good. It was good. It was Yeah, it was a good time. So what was your big game you played when you were there?
That was one that, well, Terraforming Mars was good. That's kind of what I was hoping to play. Kind of everything else didn't quite. I didn't play as much, really. I got to tell you, I was kind of telling you, the more of the BGG cons I go to, really the less games I've been playing. My very first one, I had damn near a spreadsheet. I think I played 72 games. It was how many can I get in, how many from Essen, how many hot games, and hell, I might have played 15, 20 games or something. And it was more about, really hanging out with folks, oddly enough, or rightfully enough.
Yeah. So that you only played Terraforming Mars, nothing else?
Oh no, there was about 15 or so. I can't remember. Pursuit of Happiness, Terraforming. I demoed Conan. Conan just showed up. By the way, I got 2 copies. I need to sell another one after hearing all your other comments. Maybe No, there was a bunch of others I can't remember, but Terraforming's the one that stood out. I liked Conan. I liked what it did. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I got in a few other ones, but nothing really jumped out. I wasn't sure I was going to like Terraforming Mars, but I did. We played without the drafting mechanic at the beginning, which was the right way to do it. Although if I played now, I think drafting those cards as you start each round is the way to go. But it's good.
That's cool. So what did you like about Terraforming Mars? Give us the Armedic 60-second review, or it can go longer than 60 seconds too.
Sure. No, I think the key is definitely, the first thing to grok is what do each of these things do. But as soon as I was able to kind of, I'm working in my own sphere, kind of saying, well, okay, we're pushing up temperature, we're pushing up O2, and I think it's always fun to, the whole group's moving something forward, but I'm working in this sphere or maybe these 2 or 3 areas, and I'll just focus on that and kind of work this thing. But as I was about halfway through, I thought, okay, I could have done this. You're really managing money. It's resources, but they're all just, it's managing all those and how you're going to push those cubes around. But the theme, it did grab me, and it was a real, a lot of Elon Muskiness kind of going on. So,
did you win?
No, but I came in close. What was cool was a buddy of mine was pushing victory points all the way along, but he wasn't looking long term, and he looked way ahead, and he got super downtrodden when all the end of scoring VPs come in, and we all caught him, passed him. I think I fell just shy of getting a 3-point victory card, which would have given me the win by 1, but I just couldn't get it done. I needed one more turn. But that was what I liked too, is, I was just running my game, but everybody was competitive, and the guy in last is the one that leapt forward because he was looking more long term. So that's what I like too. You can push that short term, get a VP, but if you completely ignore some of the long-term stuff, I think you're going to fall short. So I really liked the way it worked. And then the theme, really was attractive to me. So that's why I liked it. I went in a little bit thinking, I don't know if I'll like this or not. And I did.
Cool. So, hey, how did you? So how I didn't get to Spinning Tops. So how was the Spinning Tops tournament? And for those people who don't know what the Spinning Tops tournament is, give a 10-second background on the Spinning Tops or whatever. All
right, it's Luchador with Spinning Tops, which was the game I always wanted when I was 6, and the parents wouldn't get it for me. So, if you really get into it, you usually wear some kind of luchador mask or something else crazy. I think we had a giant T-Rex present at this one. We had mimes at this one.
There were mimes?
Oh, yeah. They had a whole group that would come out. They would stand and cheer and do stuff like this the whole time. And
were any of them in the contest?
Yeah, there was several in the contest. I think one made it to like the second round, and whenever they got real happy, they did a little like wall box thing or something. I don't know. It was just funny all the way They did functionally game-wise, they did a real good job. They got rid of the whole second heat thing, and you just played, the consolation prize. They got rid of the whole consolation prize group. So it was simply win 4, move to the next round. The winners of that those 4 tables went to a final table, and then the final table, they had tons and tons of games, and they went around robin. So the first player picked a game, second place picked, and I think they all walked away with 4 games. So game-wise, they sped the thing up, they made it tighter, and they made it much more worthwhile to actually move to the final table. Now the spectacle, I think, I don't know, it was still kind of there. Tom was trying to run the whole thing as a ref, and Doc Allsgood, who's Captain Awesome, he really stepped back in and was doing a lot more of the announcing, which is what he's good at. So that was still there, but I can see that starting to kind of wane a little bit, maybe. I don't know. It's still fun. I mean, it's still that's one of the reasons I like to go is for the stuff.
So and the Snifty Snakes won, right?
Yeah, and the same thing almost was Shelby, who's local out here with me and does some stuff on my show. He made it to the final table for his 3rd time in a row, goes up 2-0 against everybody and loses to that Snifty Snake guy again. So it was hilarious. It was perfect. So
Shelby was what was his costume? What did he dress up as?
I don't know. He puts on some I don't know. It was like I don't know. What was that deal with Tom Cruise when he was married to what's her name, and they're all at the masked ball where there's all this like sadistic sex going on?
My wife shut.
What is it?
I was going to say David Lowery's Basement every Thursday night.
Yeah, that. David Lowery's Basement, basically. Yeah. Lowery's Basement was his costume. He had one of those little like masked ball red things with a cape on. So, and but what I love is Shelby is he's got to win. He's not one of those guys that's playing for the fun of it. So seeing him hit that final table, go up 2, and then again fall was half the fun.
So you don't even want him to win. You want him to get. Oh wow, that's.
Oh, it was a much better story. Yeah, it was seeing him drop again. It's perfect luchador drama. So, but there you go.
Pete Shiry's what was it? El Tiburon de los Muertos or whatever, the Shark of Death. His outfit was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was playing in the poker tournament and getting totally screwed out of that. So that was, but I don't know. Poker tournament was fine, I guess. It was just, it's poker. You play, you can play the best you can, but you'll still just lose because of luck. But that's why I love poker. So, all right, cool. Well, I mean, other than that, I mean, any other takeaways from the convention for you there, Bud?
No, it's all people for me. I got to tell you, I mean, every time I go, it's less games, more people. So, I mean, that's kind of me anyway, probably. So, I mean, I love the games, but it's really about the folks. So.
All right, so I here I am. I'm excited. David, this is your first BGG.CON, right?
It is. It was. Yes.
Yes. All right. So, give us at least. Don't give us the R-rated, and definitely not the rated M. But if you can give us the PG-13 extravaganza that you went on.
Board game cons aren't really those kind of cons. I don't think those people really know how to party like that. So I don't really go there. It's not like when I go to my music conventions, but it was different. It was different than I expected. I went there kind of watching to see what happened. I felt like this whole inclusion thing is kind of more talk than actual implementation. It seems like it's very cliquish in some ways, at least with the board game media, maybe some of the publishers, but the people I did meet, I had a blast playing games with them. I don't know, it was just a little different. It just felt like, to me, it was the least friendly of all the cons I've been to, which I think was the opposite of what I was expecting. But, I mean, I still had fun. I still got to play some great games. I got to play Terraforming Mars quite a few times, and I thought that was a blast, actually. Much better game than I was expecting. Played quite a few social games like Deception. I spent a whole evening, I think, playing that with a bunch of people I had never met before. I finally got to meet Maurice for
About
real.
time.
And we got to sit around and play a little Mare Nostrum with Gunter from Academy Games. And had probably the most annoying guy on the planet join us for that game.
Let me tell you something. That guy was so drunk.
What?
We played Mare Nostrum with this really, really drunk guy, and he was just
first of all, why are
asking
you
everything.
Mare Nostrum? That is not a small game. That is.
Nah, it's 90 minutes or less.
Well, I know, but it is an involved game. I mean, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. Wouldn't you agree?
I thought
It's less heavy to me, that's for sure. So I think of it more as a medium.
Yeah, it was the lightest Civ game I've ever played, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I love the game. I'll play that thing anytime. So we had a blast and doing that. I mean, obviously, I got to meet a few people. I got to meet Mac Drizzle from from the Boom. Ran into him a few times. Spent a lot of time talking with Gray Fox Games, Mayday Games. Just doing some business things and whatever. But it was relaxing. I guess that was kind of nice. I wasn't in a rush to get everywhere like at Gen.CON or Origins or whatever, where I'm running from meeting to meeting to meeting. So in that aspect, it was kind of nice. It was all right. Next year I'll plan a little better. I think me going, just not knowing for sure until the day before. I didn't have plans. Yeah, I didn't have anybody knowing I was coming. I wasn't planning on playing games with people. It wasn't like I was always, or like anybody knew I was really coming for sure. So
I did.
You did.
Yeah.
Okay, so
did.
you said something that made me kind of go, and I don't know if I don't want to air dirty laundry here, but BGG.CON for me has always been kind of devoid of some of the cliquishness for me.
Mhm.
It always just seems like it's much more. I don't know. It just seems like it's so laid back. I mean, in my opinion.
It could be, and it could be that I might be slightly intimidated. It could be that I'm slightly outgoing with my personality and some of the blogs I've written in the past. I don't know what it is, but it just wasn't one of those things where normally people will come up to me all the time and say, "Hey, Dave, how you doing? Glad to finally meet you." And that wasn't really happening at this moment, except for a couple people. But just for some of the other reviewers and whatever, it just feels like there's this wall where people don't want, you step into their territory sometimes. But I mean, it's no big deal. It's not like it's makes or breaks anybody. It could just be social awkwardness. Maybe they don't feel like they're welcome to talk to you. I don't really know. I do have that.
It's the purple hair.
It's the resting bitch face. I mean, that could all be part of it. I have no idea.
Wow.
So,
all right. So the games that you played, what did you like the most that was there? I mean, that you played.
Well, of new games, I think Terraforming Mars was the best game I played. I don't have a lot to go with because I don't really play Stronghold games very often. They just don't run in my circle out here. There's a couple people like Panamax or whatever, but they just don't run in my circle, so I don't get those to the table very often. So I was really, really impressed with the gameplay, how quick you could learn it. Within a gameplay or half of a game, you pretty much can figure out your strategy pretty quick and still have a lot of game. I mean, there was a lot of little things that you could do to manipulate the situation and manipulate people, and it's a little bit solitaire, right? It's definitely a little bit solitaire, but there's some things that you can do, and I just really had a blast playing that. I played it twice. I won the second time I played, so that was kind of nice because the first time you played it, the first couple rounds, I had no idea, and we did do drafting, and I didn't know a damn thing about those cards, so that was kind of screwy. But after about 2 rounds of that, I kind of figured out what my mistakes were and corrected those pretty quickly. So I really enjoyed the game. If you can ever find a copy of it, I'd recommend that you get it. That's for sure.
That's going to be reprinted, I think, in January. Steven said, didn't he?
Yeah, it'll be coming out soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really get much of a chance to talk to him this time, but it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth the other one I really want. The one I wanted to play that I didn't get a chance to play was Fog of War. That was a Stronghold game as well.
I didn't play it, but I saw Jeff showing it off all week.
I never saw it on the table.
Yeah, I didn't see it on the table either.
Well, if you're looking for a box, that's why you wouldn't see it, because Jeff just had his copy in a bag to make it easier to transport.
Yeah, he demoed it at some specific time, but I would say Stronghold really nailed it this last quarter.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, they had a great year.
Mm-hmm.
Great year. So the only other game I really wanted to play, and it's old school, was Escape from Colditz. And I did not get a chance to play that. I know that's kind of a roll and move kind of thing, but just the historical value of that game, I really wanted to try, but it just did not happen. Maurice was always too busy petting his dog or what he was doing over there.
Wasn't petting my dog.
Oh Lordy!
All right. So for those of you who went, what is one thing, if you could change it? What is one thing that you didn't like about BGG.CON, and how would you change it? My first one would be, and I'm just and only one thing with. I don't want to turn it into a bagging on anything kind of thing, but I would. This sounds weird. I mean, I love the fact that there's so much open space. As far as the different floors you can go to, and there's a place to play a game anywhere you want. I mean, if you want to play in that big giant room, you can. It gets a little loud in there, so that might not be your thing. But it was. I wish there was like a better way to like meet up with people, if you will. What if like for the games that are really big, that are really huge, like those terraforming hours. I realize they set up those tables for the hot games or whatever. But what if, like, instead of and this is tough, I understand, but like a game should only last, you should have an idea of how long a game should last. So game X or whatever will last 2 hours. So, like, what if there was like a sheet or something by that table where you could sign up and then you could all meet there? Because it just seemed like whenever I wanted to like meet up with somebody to go play a game, like choreographing all of that was like next to impossible. And I found that people were like getting up early and then just taking over one of the nice tables, because the board gaming tables came in and they set up those like 10 really nice tables.
Right.
And they just had people like kind of camping on those.
Right.
And like sitting there the entire day. Just so they had one of those things. And so, I don't know, it was just some weird things like that where it was just, which
is not cohesive to good sales for them, because nobody gets to try out their tables.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It was, I had fun this year. I had a lot of fun. I didn't have as much fun as I had the year before. And I don't know. I maybe it's because I was working, because I was some of my time was beholden to my job. But I don't know. There was a different feel. It was just it was less, for me anyway. It was less warm. It just didn't feel, and that's why I kind of I wanted to get your opinion or whatever like that.
Mine was the opposite. Mine was
that's because your internet. You're internet famous now. You got your first ever free game.
I did.
Yeah, for being part of a thing. So,
I think aside from the food issue, I think to me it just felt like too many of the publishers could care less whether or not you stopped at their booth or not. I think that's what kind of bugged me. It's like if I was walking by and taking a look at some, either they didn't draw you in, or they didn't care to show you their game.
That's awful.
That just really kind of irks me. So,
publishers not demoing games was an irritation this year.
Stronghold did.
Stronghold did a great job, actually. Yeah.
Stronghold did.
We did, honestly. We had such a tiny little spot. We really couldn't start demoing until we sold some of our stock.
Gale Force 9 did. They did a good job. Great Fox did a good job of demoing some of their games.
About 50% did, but 50% didn't, and the 50%.
They would go out of their way, like Gale Force 9 and Great Fox, and they went out of the way to make sure I got whatever game I wanted demoed. They would hunt people down to play with me, or they would make sure I had a slot time, set up or whatever. And some of the other ones, they were just like, It was like they couldn't be bothered, and that to me is just bad business. But it's also, it doesn't warm me up to taking a look at your product either if I'm going to review it. So
I'll even pick on one company in particular because the company doesn't have a great reputation in the industry amongst players or other publishers right now, but they've got a really nice new game in Black Orchestra, which is game.
Oh, that looks amazing.
So if you're trying to recover your rep, why the hell are you not getting ass in chair with people hands-on with your game? Because I know the guy that did the graphic design for that game. He did a fantastic job. Black Orchestra is designed by Phil Dewberry. It's a good game. It's a good cooperative game.
Didn't walk away with it. I should have. Yeah.
Yep.
And I sat down and played a full game of it. Killed Hitler's ass, so I didn't feel like I needed to buy the game right on the time because Hitler's already dead. But it's a really, really good game. And
they took the time to explain it to me, but I didn't feel like the guys in the booth really knew what they were doing.
No, run a damn demo. Put up a demo table and let people play the game.
Yeah,
but that one did look amazing. And the new version of Shadow Rift, I don't know if you guys have ever played Shadow Rift before, but it's actually a really nice game.
I haven't, but I've sat down and demoed it.
Shadow Rift is a fantastic, game that like basically had the misfortune of coming out right around the same time when Dominion and Thunderstone were like the only games of that type that anybody cared about. And and it's yeah, there you go. It was.
Well, the packaging was not great on the original, so that was
it was like this little gray box that would.
Yeah, it was bad that way, but the new packaging made it look a lot better. But that's a solid game for anybody who hasn't checked it out yet. I would recommend that one.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I mean, I do know just from understanding like the people I know that work for Game Salute, I do know that they are currently going through some like I don't know what's wrong. They're going through some reconstruction, basically, like as far as like the people that are their convention people and whatever. They're kind of having a shifting of jobs and titles and things like that. So maybe some of that was is part of it,
And they definitely should add that out more, though. I ran into that in one of the side rooms and just heard the guys mentioning characters. I'm a huge World War II fan. I was like, what are you guys playing? And I hadn't even heard of it. And I kept popping over to their table and kind of getting in their space. And I was like, all right, I'm going to have to get a hold of this. So.
Well, and I wouldn't have known about it if I didn't know Cody Jones and hadn't heard him talking about the game he was working on. Then
I hadn't heard of it until I saw it on the table there. But it is a sharp-looking game. Looks like a ton of fun.
Apparently, David, you don't read any of the articles I put up because I put a first look up on Black Orchestra a few months ago.
Mo and I played it together.
Yeah. So there you go.
Oh, hey! In-house designer Seth Jaffe is joining us. Hey, Seth.
Hey, everyone.
How you doing, brother?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I've got a ton on my plate, and I got Thanksgiving to work on tomorrow. And after I get done here, we can go as long as you want. But after I get done here, I gotta go and edit my video for Mythic Battles and get that uploaded tonight. So, hey Bart, look in the chat in the thing, and if you need that guy's contact info, I guarantee you, if you tell him I sent you, he'll get you a copy of Game Salute sent your way. The Game Salute copy of Black Orchestra, and you can check that out.
Gotcha. Hey, on that same note, I thought the whole BGG crew did a much better job, phenomenal job getting that queue under control during registration.
Yep.
So, that was a mess last year. They fixed that, and I'm ready for them to grow again. I wish they were out of their contract for next year, but 2019 will be good.
It was. I mean, I remember last year. I mean, they were just everybody was just it was like people were in that line like all day. Like Aldi, like his big thing is he meets everybody that comes to the line and shakes their hand or whatever. And like I remember he said, I was on my feet for like 12 hours. Just that excuse the iconography, but the baton death march of people like slowly shuffling through. And it seemed like that thing was done like in what, a fifth of the time this time?
Yeah, it was about 90 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, people were straggling in late because they waited to go down because they knew they'd be in the mess and there was no line.
Yeah,
It
was amazing.
But there was a lot of prep time to get it that way. I helped the day before going there and literally stuffing badges in the little sleeves so that they were ready to go. And other people were putting the tickets in. Other people were putting the Geek Buzz voting things. So there was an assembly line to put every little thing in so that all they had to do was grab your pouch, done, right? And then go get your games and get the hell out.
Yeah, I honestly, I didn't have, because the year before I was the guest, and then this year I actually did it really, really quickly for TMG. It was just like, because as an exhibitor, it's like you get to get them early, and so it was just like, so I don't know how that actually happened or whatever, but it seems, it seems like it went over really well.
So I wonder how.
Were super nice and super helpful. That was really nice too. With all the pressure they have on them to pull that thing off, they did a great job.
They pretty much always do. They've been doing it a long time. Really quickly, what topics did I miss that I might have wanted to?
We were talking about games we played at BGG.CON and what we thought was like the best game that we played. So I guess you were at BGG.CON. You probably played a couple of games. So, and I should mention that Seth actually brought the Homesteaders expansion, which is the 5th player, and adds some new events and some new cards. And I guess it's kind of old news now. Everybody knows that we are finally reprinting Homesteaders. So so that's like something we're excited for. But I got to play Homesteaders with the expansion and 5th player, and I had a lot of fun with that. That was good. I also destroyed everybody and won handily. So that also made me happy.
I don't think I saw Seth face to face the entire time.
I saw probably too much of Seth, so somewhere between you and me was the happy.
Actually, I think I might have seen you
I saw you in the distance,
a few tables over or something like that, or I walked by when you were playing a game. So but yeah, I was surprised I didn't bump into you in there.
Oh, what? Okay, so Seth, tell us the games you played.
Of those,
you don't have to give a list of everything, but tell us the game that you probably enjoyed the most.
That wasn't made by you.
That wasn't made by okay, good qualifier.
I think Eminent Domain was amazing.
Actually, so I wrote down what games I played right here so I can think about it on the plane.
Of course you did.
I played a number of prototypes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including the expansion to Homesteaders, 6, 7, 8. I played about 9, 10 prototypes. But one of which was Crusaders, and that's kind of done. And a couple of those were mine that I was working on, and those were all fun. One of which was a game that my friend Dan Keltner made, and he submitted it to Hippo Dice contest, and didn't win, but he got an honorable mention, and now somebody's going to publish it. So that's cool. It's called Queen Anne's Revenge. So that was fun. Other than that, I played I played Oracle of Delphi, Railroad Revolution. Railroad Revolution's pretty good. I like it.
That's one game. My What's Your Game copy is on its way to me. That's one thing I really want to try, because What's Your Game, Anthony and I both agree, they really haven't made a bad game yet.
Nope. Yeah, they I don't know. I haven't played their Nippon and Sneer. I didn't play last year's. I liked Zhanghua, which is the same designers I think as Railroad Revolution. Anyway, I've played it 3.5 times now. I like it. I enjoy it. It was on my list of things I wanted to play while I was there, even though I've already played it. Also on that list that I did not play was First Class, which I played once at Sasquatch, and I really enjoyed that too.
Well, but it's weird because it isn't in English yet, which is really weird because it seems like most games that come out that are like people are going to be excited for, they almost always have English rules or English components. But it seems odd. It is the rare game that just comes out that's got a bigger release that just comes out that doesn't come out in English.
I think I saw Z-Man on their on the BGG page. So is that happening?
Z-Man's bringing it. Yep, Z-Man's bringing it here.
Okay. Is anyone bringing over Railroad Revolution yet?
What's Your Game? They do distribute directly.
Oh,
here.
they do American stuff too. Okay.
They used to do with Z-Man, and they had one with a couple with Rio Grande, but they bring their own stuff over now.
Oh, okay. So the top of my list of things I wanted to play, and I almost didn't get a chance to play it. So it's Sunday morning at 2 a.m. I started a game of Great Western Trail, and so I'm glad I got a chance to play it. But honestly, I thought I'd like it more than
You always hate stuff. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, actually, I thought after some reflection, I think I did like it all right, and I would play it again. But the comment that I'm going to watch for it. So my comment I made while I was playing it was that the turns were quick, but the game was slow, and I didn't. And it felt a little redundant. But maybe that's because we were just learning, and it was 3 a.m. and stuff. I would play. I certainly play it again and see how it goes. What else did I play? Fabled Fruit. Everyone was playing Fabled Fruit. At first, I thought, yeah, it was a bunch of nothing. But then, upon reflection, I thought, okay, it wasn't so bad. And I only played 3 games of it, so I didn't get that deep into the deck. And I guess it'd be pretty cool to play longer. Although I played it 2-player, and I think I would only want to play it 2-player. I think playing it heads up is probably
you
better.
liked it heads up? I thought it felt weaker heads up because you can go anywhere you want. And when I played it 5-player, it was tough.
Huh.
Because
I don't know. I haven't tried it with more than 2. I only played with 2, so I don't know. But I don't know. I kind of liked the 2-player aspect. Although maybe if it's too open, maybe it'd be cooler if there were blockers of some sort or fewer cards out or something. I don't know.
Yeah, in a 5-player game, you've got 6 stacks when you start, so you're paying somebody.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I can see how that would be a lot tighter. Terraforming Mars. I played a game of that. I played that a couple times before. It's got a lot of hype, and I'm not really sure why.
See, this is Seth hating on things.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's a fine game. I just don't think it's nearly as good as what people seem to say. Now, also, I've only played it with where you just get dealt cards. I guess there's some sort of drafting variant that probably makes it better. I'd probably
we did drafting, and it did make it a lot better, I thought.
I can see how that would help. But that would certainly help at least some of my complaints. But other than that, I mean, it just takes a really long time. One thing that bugs me about that game, and it's probably happened in other games, is they have this strict turn order. Like, okay, it's your turn. You do 1 or 2 things, and then you wait. And most of the I feel like 90% of the time it doesn't matter, and you could just do all your stuff and not have to wait, 5 minutes for my turn to come back around to play 1 card down, done. And it just makes the game drag out to like 3 hours. I feel like there must be a better way to do that. And then there are a few things that it matters for turn order. Then again, those are just, at that point, it's sort of arbitrary turn order because who happened to go first there. I feel like there must have been a better way to do that and just have everyone play their cards like simultaneously or something.
Yeah, other than going after a milestone or wanting to place in a specific spot for point reasons, you could almost play simultaneously.
A lot of the cards also have it where you need to wait for certain things to happen before you can play them too, though. So that's kind of like a waiting game that you're trying to play through that turn. So.
Yeah, I mean I'm sure there are a lot of specific details of the game that you can't just play it simultaneously the way it is now. But I feel like probably without too much work they could have made it not take 3 hours, not be a 3-hour game.
How many players did you play with?
I played with 4 every time.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm sure that's part of it. But I mean that game is
I played it as a 2-player and it still took 2 hours.
What's that?
I played it as a 2-player and it still took 2 hours.
Because you have to do the exact same amount of stuff. You just have like double the cards as a 2-player game than in a 4-player game.
Oh yeah. You might not have to wait for as many people in between, but
you still have to get out 9 oceans, push the tracks all the way up. So it takes almost as long.
Yeah.
So goes right with that.
But the one thing I did notice is those little cubes. The copy we were using was somebody's personal copy. It only played it maybe 5 or 6 times, and the cubes were already chipping and coming apart and whatever. So that was kind of annoying.
Yeah, people were really excited about those, and I don't know why.
Those cubes are pretty bad. I mean, they look nice. They look like they're gonna be those hefty, nice, like metallic cubes or whatever. Then you pick them up and they're totally light and crappy. One of the guys I played with was just ragging most of the, for a bit of the time about the graphic design and how, Stephen Bonacore and Stronghold Games, like, they're big shots. He's got a name. He's got a lot of output. Why can't he hire a graphic designer? And I kind of agree. Well, I mean, he was saying that it was like every game. I don't know if that's true, but certainly Terraforming Mars has some lousy graphic design. and or ugly graphic
But
design.
I don't think that's coming from Steven. It's coming from Fricks, who did it originally, and he brought it over.
Well, yeah, but he could hire a designer to like.
Yeah, but he doesn't redo anything. He just brings it over.
And that's the thing, though, is like Tasty Minstrel and some other games. I know Capstone has brought stuff over, and they clean up the graphic design. They add stuff to it. They improve the game in some way, redo the rule books. And I feel like every game that Stronghold has brought over, it's just they reprint it. And it's even like to the point where there might be graphic design problems with the first edition, and he brings it over, and those misprints and those problems are still there. Like, he doesn't change anything.
Well, I can tell you that's a fact based on Great Western Trail, because I got my Stronghold Great Western Trail, and it has the same red 8A tile that says 8A on both sides that was incorrect in the Eckertspiel print. And so they did not correct it for the Stronghold print. It's the same thing with a different box.
Just slaps his logo on it and prints it.
Exactly.
Yep. People don't seem to mind, I guess, but I feel
because
like
we get it in the U.S.
He's
does a
good job. Otherwise,
why he doesn't raise a concern about that for sure.
Well, and it's been a thing that people talk about. I know a lot of people that I play games with. I mean, we like his heavier stuff that he brings over, but it's like every other company that brings over good heavy Euros does stuff to them, makes them better, improves them, and he just doesn't. It's like he just doesn't care.
Yeah, I would hesitate maybe to change the game when you're importing a game, because you want the game to be the same probably.
Just too, he's putting these out now. He's not bringing over games that weren't available here. He's bringing over games at the same time, so he should have more of a say in it. Yeah,
they're co-printing at the same time, and so it's possible that he's not like taking an error he saw and then just not fixing it. Maybe the same error happens all at the same time or something like that. So that's that.
Right, but my point is he's not taking something and just saying, okay, I'll pay. I'm going to do the printing now and put my name on the box. He's working on the game with that company at the same time. They're both they're printing the Stronghold copies and the copies that are staying in Europe, whatever company's doing them, at the same time.
So he might not have any say about the graphic design. But anyway, that was the one player was saying that, and I can't disagree. The graphic design could be better. And that player board with all those cubes, everyone complains about them knocking around. I actually dropped in our game. I dropped a cube or whatever, and it hit one of my other cubes and knocked like 7 more cubes on my board all over the place. And I was like, luckily, I think I remembered where everything was, and so I didn't really.
I just ordered the game trays, custom trays yesterday.
Wait a minute. So what you're saying is that if I'm losing, that's a good strategy.
Yeah, it is.
Oops, and then you're like, oh, I actually had this much income or whatever.
But for a $70 MSRP game, it shouldn't be that quality. Like, you shouldn't have to buy inserts to make it.
And how much?
Oh, well, okay. I'm going to stop you right there, because here's where an argument comes up: is that are you like, and this is the discussion, when you're paying that money, are you paying it for the stuff, or are you paying it for the development of the game? Because I mean, you're saying that, oh, for $70 I shouldn't have whatever. I mean, there's a lot of people that say that like it's worth that much because of the amount of work that went into actually making the game. I realize I'm playing devil's advocate here a little bit. I do believe that board games are like the weird antithesis of this, where it's just like we tend to like our prices are always going to be based upon what's in the box. If there's a ton of really cool minis, it drives the price up. It isn't so much that like if somebody comes up, and Seth can probably attest to this as a designer, you come up to him and say, yeah, I spent 9 years working on this game. Yeah, it's still only worth this. It doesn't matter how long you worked.
So are you saying that all the games that are $40 games didn't have any development go into them?
No, they do. They see, but
exactly.
it's a weird thing. And this is something I've always thought of too. And I'm not to interrupt you, but like think of video games for a second. And not that I want to turn this into discussing video games, but somewhere,
but it will.
someone decided that a console game should cost $60 unless it's like a special edition thing. But and that doesn't matter how many years of development, how much you paid to like make those games. It's weird. It's I don't know. I wonder if and when we will ever have like a deciding factor where we're just going to say this size box board game is going to be $60. This size box board game is $100. This size box is $20. And we're kind of there right now.
But the problem with that is all of the games that come in set box size.
Well, and it's weird too because and once again, Seth can attest this. At TMG, we don't normally make a square box game. Like City Hall's like really only a square box, isn't it?
And I love you guys for it.
So yeah, I used to talk about this kind of more often about I guess it was just sort of a frustration that people are unwilling to pay for, given 2 game boxes with the same components. If one game is good and the other game is bad, people aren't willing to pay more for the good game. In fact, people used to say, I used to see posts when Race for the Galaxy came out, and Race for the Galaxy is by any measure a good game, and people, it's a quality game. A lot of work went into it. That's very smart. And some people were like, "Oh, why does it cost so much? It's just a deck, it's just a deck of cards in a box." And I'm like, take out any other deck of cards and see if you have as much fun with it, But they have a point. I mean, the prices, the manufacturer's retail price on these games are set based on largely the manufacturing cost and shipping cost. And I mean, sure, the designer royalty goes into it, but the designer royalties are pretty small. And it's not like, I mean, if someone were to, I don't know, get Reiner Knizia or somebody who can command a larger royalty, it's still a hard sell to be like, well, everything else was the same, but we had to pay the designer more, so we're going to charge $5 more for the game. People are just going to complain that it's not as cheap as similar games. So,
well, the other thing though is you have like a level of quality that you need to keep. Like I know, like I've been collecting games from Portal. First couple games that Portal distributed that came out straight here, like Legacy of Duke to Crazy, the card stock is really thin. It's really thin. But in Europe, that is considered decent quality, what's there, not by our standards. So when you get something from a U.S. publisher, whether it was something that was brought over or not, and they leave it in that quality, that's when people start looking at it going, okay, Maurice will tell you, there he is. Like GMT games. GMT games are as consistent as you could possibly get on games.
Oh yeah.
All of the counters are the same thickness, no matter what size they are, whether they're half-inch counter or 3/4-inch counter, they're all the same thickness. It's all the same quality. Granted, they don't have fancy stuff, but the quality is consistent in all of it, and people pay a lot of money for those games.
Well, the components are top notch, like you were just saying, and I think they're good-looking games. But then again, for a war game, they're really good-looking games. Right. A lot of war games are fairly bland.
I think we're forgetting to. I could argue this all day long because this happens all the time in the music industry too. I mean, people pay $150 for a concert ticket for a band that can't play their instruments, but they'll cry over a $12 ticket for another band that are world-class musicians. So I think that we're also forgetting that the average person isn't playing their game more than 6 times. So there's a perceived value in how much they're going to pay for that game just based on that alone as well. So I think you have to kind of factor in cult of the news of what people are willing to pay.
But I think it's what you're used to, because look, I'll ask Joe, because he knows. Food chain magnate, people who have never played a Splatter game before, who saw it and saw all the hype behind it, we're all like, oh my God, this game is so ugly. The components are crap. Why is this game $100?
Right.
And we're like, because it is. It should be. And it's worth every penny of it.
Yeah.
Or the Winsome games too. The same thing with the Winsome games. I mean, you're paying a premium price, but you're not getting like top level GMT or anybody, FFG or anything quality components, but you're getting great gameplay, and that's what you're paying for.
But it's also that there's a thing that like we know that they're a small publisher that prints in in their little factory in Holland or wherever they're at, and it's just like we understand that it's a much smaller type of a way that they do, and that's just the way that they do things, whereas Stronghold kind of has their thing that they do, and they print large amounts of games, bring them over. I mean, I don't know what Terraforming Mars was, and I know it sold out, but it had to have been at least a couple thousand copies.
Well, they've already done 2 front runs.
So one thing we forget when we're talking about the price of Terraforming Mars, though, if that game had come from any other publisher, it would have been $50, not $70.
That's the thing. Yep.
Why do you say that?
Because Steven prices everything about 40% higher than the equivalent games from anybody else.
But I mean, as a business owner, that's his right. And to be honest with you, that's probably
It is his right, and we're buying it. That's fine.
Based on the incredibly crappy, small-ass margins that board games have to begin with.
I'm not saying he's wrong for doing it.
I mean,
I'm just saying that
it's almost crime how much work goes into this, and nobody can make a living on it because people want everything so damn cheap.
Yeah, but the thing about those games, when you do charge a premium price, they also have a shorter shelf life at that price as well. They'll start being discounted. Look at New Dawn. That was, I think it was $70 when it first came out. Now it's selling for $35.
Somebody was saying Terraforming Mars was produced in the USA. I don't know if it was or not.
Oh,
I
I think it partly was or something.
What it was the U.S. copies were assembled in the U.S. The plastics came from China. The cards came from Germany. The boards, the boxes, etc., were printed in Lafayette, Indiana.
Yeah, Ludifax.
They've got a new plant.
They're
up in
opening a
Lafayette.
factory in the U.S. I heard, and they're gonna. But this one wasn't actually printed, but it was, I guess, assembled here. So I'm gonna have to go in just a couple minutes. But if you want, I got like 3 more games to mention from BGG.CON.
Yep.
What, you gotta leave? What, you gotta leave?
Yeah, I got stuff to do.
Jeremy's
Mr. Important. All right, go ahead.
So the next game that on the list here is Ulm, or ULM.
That's from R&R.
It looked, it looked good. I saw it at Essen. It looked cool, but I didn't get a chance to play. And then I also didn't get a chance to play at Sasquatch a couple weeks ago. But I heard like 2 separate people told me they thought it wasn't so good, or downright bad. And I thought, really, how bad can it be? So I checked it out from the library, and I played it the other night. And I don't know. I thought it was all right. Solid. It was fun. I liked it. I'd play it again. I don't know like how replayable or I don't know, like the next classic like Puerto Rico, but it seemed okay to me. Did you guys play it?
I played it. I thought it was a pretty decent game for what it was.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fine. And then next on the list is Docmus. So one night I was late at night. I came across someone I knew, and he was playing Council of 4, but he was raving all about this Docmus game. He was telling me all about it and how I should play it and whatever. The next day, I happened to see Tom Vassell carrying it around, looking like he was about to play it, and he had room for me. So I sat down and played it with him. Turns out that's the first time I played a game with Tom Vassell, like ever.
Which game are you talking about? I'm
Docmus.
Docmus.
Docmus. It's kind of a stupid name. It's we thought it was like Tom said he picked it.
I've never even heard of
this.
this.
Partly because he looked at the name and it looked like Dorkmus, and he was like,
That's what I said when I saw it on the shelf. Was
How do you spell it?
DOKMUS.
DOKMUS. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Heavy Cardboard's been talking about this one. They really have been liking it a lot. They said it's a real thinky kind of a filler game.
I played it as well.
A thinky.
Jeremy just said in the chat, Docmus is smart but not fun to look at.
I don't know. It's kind of an abstract game. It's got some tiles with grids, and you've got like your little. I don't like the pieces. They're like triangular tent pieces, and they're kind of annoying because they're hard to pick up and stuff. But other than that, they look nice. They're the painted wood, whatever. And what you're trying to do is spread out around the board, and every turn you can place 3 guys, and then you can do an effect like slide these boards around or rotate them to kind of make access better. It reminded me a little of Draken, which is some old game by Tom Jolly, I think.
It made me think of like Advanced Kingdom Builder.
Yeah, it was like
Dungeon Twister or something.
Fun version of Kingdom.
Fun version of Kingdom.
Fun version.
Excellent.
Well, I did think of Kingdom Builder mostly because you're putting 3 houses out at a time and trying to get on the board.
And
but also
you've got to beat by your other ones. Right.
Dungeon Twister or Draken, but without as much. Like, you can't take my stuff away. Once it's on the board, it's on the board. And it had some neat things, like you're encouraged to spread out onto all the boards. You're encouraged to fill up a certain board and touch all the special spots on the board. It was. I mean, I don't usually like abstract games too much, so I don't know how often I'd play it. But it was a solid game. I didn't dislike it.
Yeah. So, quick thing, Lance. The game is like a 3x3 grid, but there's no tile in the center when you start. And then there's these god cards you can draft that gives you that special action. And one of them is to actually slide a tile into the empty space. So you're trying to get onto every tile. So you can get to the tiles across the board by sliding the tiles around. So you put it on the tile in front of you where you start, and then you can rotate that tile and then slide it into the empty space on the next turn. And now you'll be able to touch the tiles on the other side of the board.
Yeah, it's a really interesting way to kind of spread out, and it's a little bit of a puzzle to get your guys where where you want them and stuff. It was pretty solid. I mean, I'd play it again. And then the last one on my list, and I played this at Sasquatch 2 weeks ago, and then I played it again at BGG.CON. It's called Papa Paulo. Have you guys played this one? It's about delivering pizzas.
Anthony talked about it a little bit actually earlier.
Yeah, it was what I keep saying about this. It was a surprisingly solid game for a game with zero buzz. And I thought it might be by a first-time designer, and you can kind of tell, although it looks like he's done one before. And the publisher, too, I don't know. There was some weird stuff, like the rulebook had like 5 game variants in the back, and I'm sure at least one of them is vital, and you should definitely use it. And at least one other one should be used. But other than that little weirdness, like it was a really solid game.
Yeah, one of the variants is how to determine turn order, which is one of the weird things in the game because turn order is the person who actually bids on the lowest track when you do the auction part I was talking about earlier.
Yeah,
so if you deliver less pizzas, it costs you less money to do it, and you basically take the first player marker and go first the next round. So it's kind of like, the person in the last place gets to go, but you kind of pick to be last. And rather than saying, "Oh, I'm losing the game, I get to go first next round."
I gotta run for a second. Help Michelle out. I might be back, so I'll leave it on. But
if you come back, you come back, and that'd be cool if you come back. So
all right, have a good night, guys.
All right, see ya.
All right.
Does anyone know when Roadhouse is coming to the U.S.?
Roundhouse?
Roundhouse. I mean, yes, Roundhouse.
As soon as they figure out how to get the board in the box.
Is that the Taiwanese game that the people that made Baramo? No, but they are doing another print run. So
I picked up a copy of that. It's being shipped back. I should get my games back I should have them back I should get them on Friday, if not Friday, Saturday. So
yeah,
I played it at BGG and I liked it once I got through the horrible rulebook.
I had a debate between Clay bringing me back The Colonist or a copy of that, and I decided on The Colonist. But I was really interested in that one. I liked Burano a lot too.
I'm trying to.
I love the look of Burano. I like how they went with alternative colors in a weird, if that makes sense.
And I like games that when you get done playing with them, it looks like you did something. Like that's always just like a fun thing. It's like look at this thing we made.
How much did you pay for Roundhouse, Lance?
I think Fun Again had it for $70. I'm thinking
that's $75.
I don't know. I don't remember. And Jeff might have given me a deal on it too, but I don't know.
Well, I'd be curious if they're going to get publication with the same people that printed Baramo, the people that are associated with Cool Stuff.
Maybe. I mean, it really depends on how well. Is it Baramo or Burano? I don't know.
Burano.
It really depends on how well I mean, because I got my copy of Baramo in Japan where it was cheap. Like apparently they just had too many copies or something there. But I don't know. I mean, it always depends on how many copies they sold and whether it was profitable. I mean, can you still get copies of Baramo at Cool Stuff?
Yeah, it's on the clearance sale in Miniature Market.
Yeah. I got my copy earlier this year, and it was a weird thing because I have a guy that got in contact with me who lives in Taiwan where they make the game, and he said he was coming to America and wanted to trade me Burano and this is when you couldn't get it, and people were selling it for like $90, and he wanted to trade me for Star Wars Rebellion, which I played and posted on Facebook that I didn't like it, and he's like, well, if you don't like it, I can give you this game. And then I found it was like, then it came to America for like $40 just like a couple weeks later.
Yeah, it's a $70 list price. They just sold out of a Miniature Market for the Black Friday sale. It was $36.
Yeah.
I didn't even check out the Black Friday sales. Was there anything worth mentioning?
Cool Stuff has Burano for $46. It's in stock.
Oh, so did anybody check out the Miniature Market or Cool Stuff Black Friday stuff? I didn't look at them all.
I looked at the Miniature Market. I didn't buy anything. I didn't look at the Cool Stuff.
I have too many games.
I may have crumbled today and did the Card House Black Friday sale, which was actually good because what they did was rather than putting a bunch of garbage up there, everything they had in stock was 10% additional off.
So what'd you end up buying?
I got Arkham Horror LCG. I got the expansion for Pandemic the Cure. I got Iron Throne. And I got Holdfast North Africa, which Miniature Market also had on their Black Friday sale, but I think I paid like $6 or $7 less from Card House. So that's running through the weekend. But, I mean, their prices are pretty much in line with what CSI and Miniature Market have. And then just throwing the 10% on top of it. The only thing with them is you need to do 125 to get free shipping rather than 100, but I had no problem doing that.
CSI has Ponzi scheme now.
Yeah, they got everything today. They got Great Western Trail, Ponzi scheme, all that stuff.
The right version of Orleans Invasion, since I bought the wrong one.
Why'd you buy the wrong one?
I accidentally bought the DLP version.
Really? Well, it's still the same thing, I believe.
Yeah, it is. It's just got German on the tiles too.
Womp womp.
When are you guys bringing over the other expansion for Orleans?
Probably in another year.
It'll be quicker. It'll actually be quicker because the first time we for Invasion, we brought it over. We had to outsource for our graphic design, but now we have our own in-house graphic designer, Adam McIver, who is really cool. And also you could say MacGyver for his name when you instead of saying MacGyver.
And he is talented as hell.
He is very talented, and he's a really, really nice guy too. And then he's a game designer as well. So now we have that, and also because we've actually built up the relationship with DLP. The conversation back and forth is way faster.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited about Invasion, but the second expansion does look like it's more stuff, which is what I wanted anyway. But
very cool. Well, we've been sitting here for a while talking about, and I know Anthony is just he needs to take back his initials throne. So from Keith.
I was fine just letting it go. But you want to do it, we'll do it.
Well, I mean, it's just we here we have everybody, and I know everyone's anxious now. I mean, now if
you're waiting until it's freaking 12:30 in the morning again.
Well, that's that's
I'm ready to go to sleep now.
Well, everybody go get a drink. Go get a drink. Get relaxed, and for those people, well, I think Maurice probably doesn't know the rules or know how this works. So, but Mr. Wiggins has watched it at least.
Watched it.
I have.
I think Joe might be a little bit of a spoiler, honestly. I think I mean he's sitting on he's got a flair for the trivia, I believe, and
possibly.
Plus he and
hold on. I to make it fair, I'm going to turn off my camera so I can Google search all the answers too, though. Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. That's fair. And also he and Anthony have some bad blood, so this might be.
We don't have bad blood.
We're best friends.
They have hatred. Deep seated hatred.
This is going to turn into a luchador match
at Gen Con. Just like trying to pick fights that aren't there.
So I mean, you should have heard the stuff that he was saying about you. That's all I'm saying.
He did hear the stuff I was saying about.
Yeah,
him.
The stuff that you said behind closed doors. So
I didn't say anything behind closed doors.
Okay, yeah, a wink. I agree.
It's okay. Anthony can't hate me because he met me when I was with my wife, so nobody can actually think bad.
Wait, it's the best story. I'm standing outside the dealer hall waiting for them to open the door in the morning, and he comes walking over. He's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I know this guy from somewhere. And I see him still like walking right at me, and I'm like,
yeah, you know him from the dartboard picture you have where you're throwing the darts in every morning.
And he goes,
wait, you were staring at in the bathroom.
All he says to me is, "Hey, I heard you were looking for me."
and then you know what happened? You capitulated. You're like, oh God, no! Please don't be mad at me, Joe Wiggins.
No, then we kissed. So it was good.
Well, there you go.
Very passionately, in a very
lots of time.
Did you go play a game and said, hey, loser has to kiss the winner? So anyway,
I lost on purpose.
We were playing a co-op. We both lost.
Nice. All right,
We
so
both won at the same time.
all right, so we're gonna ask: is Kabuki Kid in the house? Is she gonna? She actually had to make a ruling recently, and as the official the official initials adjudicator. So Kabuki Kid, are you in the house? Are you ready to be the official initials adjudicator? No? Yeah? Maybe? Okay.
What?
She's
Okay,
here.
she is here. And, are you ready to be the official initials adjudicator?
All right, we're gonna let them bid on who they think is gonna win.
Yes, and so let's have him tweet you, Anthony. If people are listening live right now, can tweet to Anthony. He is the that would be at the Secret Cabal.
No. Don't do that, Jamie. You'd be like, what the hell's all this? I'm pleased with that.
Barry is traveling, Mr. Tompkins. Barry is traveling. David is trying to pimp himself up here right now in the chat. Good for you. Hey, somebody in the chat, if you can answer me, what time supposedly is the Kingdom Death Monster? What time is that Kickstarter starting on Friday? If somebody could say that in the chat, I'd appreciate that. I just want to make sure if there is a thing where you can get in cheap at the beginning, I'd like to try, but. Yeah, I suppose I could Google it or something,
right, so
but that seems like a lot of work.
But you told people to tweet at me. In case you don't know, my Twitter handle is at
Secret Cabal.
No. All right, you can't enter because someone's being a dick.
No, it's at secretcabal.anthony.
Yes, at Lance is an asshole. .org. He's a whole organization of people who realize that he's an asshole.
Thank you, John Edwards, for answering. It's midnight Eastern time on Thursday, so that would be 11 p.m. in my time zone. So that's what I have to shoot for. All right.
Hey, Lance, before we start the initials game, do you mind if I make a little announcement real quick?
Yes. All right. So, Maurice, this is how initials is played. Go ahead, Joe. Whatever.
I just wanted to announce this, I guess, on your show. But we this December, actually, I am forming a podcast, and I am going to get that running. But Clay from Capstone Games and the elusive Ryan Metzler, who has been missing from Board Game Media for quite a while, are all going to be starting a podcast in December. We'll be calling it The Deep End. And so if anybody out there is interested in that, that's something that I just wanted to kind of throw out there.
Did you say the depends?
Yeah, the depends. Okay, so we're all going to be wearing just.
It sounds like a shitty show.
Oh. No, that'd be cool. I'll tune in.
We're actually formatting it after the Alaboom. We're gonna do kind of a live Google Hangout and then put the audio as a podcast later on. So
you're going to talk about absolutely nothing and everything random if you're formatting it after the Alaboom?
We're gonna talk about absolutely nothing at all.
It's a variety cluster.
All right, so Maurice, just so you understand how initials works, I have in this piece of paper right here. I have 12 people, places, or things. All 12 things have the same initials, which I will give in just a few moments. So, and then what I'm going to do is I will just say item number 1, and then I will start reading off clues to help you determine what that person, place, or thing is. Now, for example, if I were to say the initials were JW and my clue was
Anthony.
And my clue,
Johnny Walker.
my clue was longtime Alaboom listener, now hack podcast creator,
Joe Wiggins.
I would say correct, and I would say, yay, you got one correct. So, so the thing is that your buzzer is your name. You have to say your name.
Is it Maurice? Are we going by Maurice or Mo?
He can use either. It doesn't matter. So, so your buzzer. So
Maurice Aloysius Fitzgerald.
There you go.
So Anthony, what is your buzzer?
Anthony.
David, what is your buzzer?
David.
Joe, what is your buzzer?
Joe.
Keith, what is your buzzer?
Keith.
Maurice, what is your buzzer?
Maurice, because I don't want to get mixed up with Joe. We'll screw each other up.
All right, so that's how it is. Paul Tompkins, are you going to be handling the score? You always Keith takes care of it too, but just in case. There you go. And then John, if you haven't already tweeted, everybody who's listening to us live can tweet to Anthony, and that's at is it the Cardboard Jungle or just
no? It's at CBJ Podcast.
At
CBJ Podcast.
Is that spelled out like CEEB?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So,
I just created a new Twitter handle for the initials contest. Again,
all is in.
Lance is an ass.
How did you get that okayed so quickly? That's crazy.
All set. LanceIsAnAss.org.
All right. So I'm gonna give our listeners a couple of minutes to tweet the name of the person they think is going to win and the score they are going to achieve. So if you thought that Anthony was going to win with 6 correct, you'd tweet to the Cardboard Jungle or at CBG Podcast. You'd tweet to them, Anthony 6. If you get it correct, then you can win a fabulous prize, and the prize is not fabulous. So Paul Tompkins did, however, collect his because he won like 2 or 3 times or something like that crazy. So so he collected some swag at the old BGG.CON, and I was able to hook him up there. So Paul, go ahead and you can just type in what you won there. I basically said, "What don't you own by us?" And he said that, and that. I was like, "There you go, take them." So,
deluxe copy of Orleans, right?
We sold the last 2 copies in existence. It was kind of sad. We kind of sad seeing those people take those, but. Yeah, as I said, never say never. It could always possibly come back. Who knows? Maybe.
So what you're saying is Kickstarter next year. All right. Cool.
I wouldn't count on it. I would not next year. I mean, 2017 is going to be really busy for us. So good. I don't think that's going to be the case. So anyway, are we ready? Has everybody got a drink? Everybody's excited?
No. Okay.
He's not excited. He's pulling up Google.
Yeah. All right, yeah. Now Keith has 1 career victory. Correct?
It has an asterisk because Anthony wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. And Anthony's won every single other one, hasn't he?
The other 2, yes.
Was it 2 or 3?
I think it's 3.
2.
Well, who knows?
I don't know.
Wow. Maui Chris, I want that copy.
No clue.
What does Maui Chris have?
Unplayed Deluxe Orleans copy.
Yeah. Kabuki said her Orleans Deluxe has seen some action. And then so did her board game.
I can't get Invasion to fit.
Scott. Aldi's in the chat.
Aldi's in the chat.
Hi, Aldi.
Aldi, why aren't you in? Aldi, log in so you can play initials. I sent you a link. Check your mail.
So we wait for Aldi, but when I came in late, you wouldn't let me jump in late. Okay, that's all right.
Well, it's just because you got to be there at the beginning.
Waited though.
You got to be there at the beginning. Is Scott coming in?
I guess if I had a $78 million website, you'd wait for me. But
he's got a broken mic. Apparently, the $78 million can't buy him a microphone.
It was down to 72.
72, yeah.
It's dropped down to 72. He's
off his ass. It's all that.
Sell.
Only dropped the mic and broke it.
It's all that bad blood from the horribly run BGG.CON. That's why everybody dumped them or whatever. But. No. We had very glowing responses to your convention
from everybody but Lance.
Hey,
I said I had a good time. That's
something that Lance said. Something that Lance said earlier, being at Aldi's here. It might not be a bad idea to point that out about finding out for next year if there's a way to get something together where people can find games easier. Like maybe if an industrious person out there wants to build an app or something where people can say what games are playing on what floors, maybe even what rooms, to try to organize something. I don't know if anybody would be interested in doing something.
Might be a little creepy, try to track people down and murder them. Oh, he's on the 8th floor. Let's get him.
Lance goes right to the murder thing.
There was a Slack running for BGG.
Yeah, Slack, but that could be a little that could be a little kind of tough. I think something that was maybe a little more specific would be easier, but that's a whole nother thing. Just an idea.
An app actually sounds really cool.
We lost Joe. Where'd Joe go?
Joe.
He went to find Google.
Joe Wergens? Okay, well we'll give him like a minute or two to reconnect here. But there you go.
He's back.
Yeah. Sorry, I got booted.
By who?
The internet here sucks. I'm in Florida at my mom's for Thanksgiving, and I'm like a block, like not even a block. I'm like 2 houses away from the ocean. So there's just like some weird stuff. I don't know.
And apparently Maurice has gone. What is going on, Maurice? He's being like strangled at his computer right now.
I just had to put on my hat so I could be official.
Oh, all right.
Somebody found him on the app and murdered him.
There you go. I got found on the app.
All right, so here we go. Here comes initials. Is everybody excited? Is everybody? Yeah, I was actually stunned by the number of people that actually approached me and said they really liked the Alaboom show. I was like at BGG.CON. I mean, it was like more than 10 people, which I was like, oh my gosh.
There were tens of people
that remarked that they liked it. So, all right. Well, anyway, here we go. Is everyone ready?
No. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So,
what are the initials?
The initials are, I haven't announced them yet. The initials are O-S.
O-S.
Oh, boy.
S.
Old Sibilis.
All right. I haven't even said anything yet. All right. All right. So here we go. Item number 1. There were 28 of them in Brazil. There will be 33 of them in Japan. As of 2014, there are no longer items like this that are done just for men. Baseball was dropped, but was recently Keith.
Olympic sports.
You are correct. Well done. And then Keith on the board quickly. The interesting fact: there have been 20 demonstration events that never made the cut, which is unfortunate because some of them are ballooning, savate, and weight training with dumbbells. Yes, in 1900 there was an Olympic demonstration sport, weight training with dumbbells.
Back in 1996, when I was supposed to go, they substituted Taekwondo, which was supposed to be our first year as a real sport, or full metal sport instead of a demonstration, for roller dancing.
You should have competed in that.
Yeah.
No, because it was no longer there the next Olympics. But yeah, they do stupid shit like that all the time.
Were you gonna win in Taekwondo? Is what you're trying to say?
I don't know if I was gonna win, but that was my year to go. So,
well, wow, learn something new every day, man. So could you kick my face off? Is what you're trying to say?
I can kick your face off, but I can't kick any higher than that anymore.
Oh, all right, fair enough. All right, so Keith, off to a. Are you feeling good, Keith?
No,
off to a.
I want to go to sleep.
Oh, okay. Well,
He's
good.
hoping for the early lead that nobody can catch up on.
Yes, and we're done. Keith wins.
We're done. All right, one question tonight. Yes.
Wait, we have a catch-up mechanic right now.
Yeah. Yes. Item number 2. First created in 1956. They were originally built into the machines that use them?
Anthony,
Go ahead.
operating system.
Correct, Anthony. Well done. That's a good one. Good one. All right. So there we go. So now we have
Anthony didn't start with his handicap today.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
he
true.
could be like -5 to start or something.
Yeah, he's at -4 now. So that's yeah. So the other clues were in the 1980s. They could finally be installed by home users. Mobile ones were created by Apple in 2007. And examples include BSD, OS X, Unix, Linux, and Windows. All right. So, all right, Keith, where were you on that one? Come on, Joe. Come on. You were my ace in the hole this time.
OS. I've got one thing written down.
Okay.
Yep.
I think it's the same one we all have written down.
All right. So here we go. Item number 3. Founded Christmas Day, 1890. Renowned for both farming and animals. Until it was discontinued, was the home of the orange peel. It is the home of cowboys and cowgirls.
Anthony,
Go ahead, Anthony.
Oklahoma State.
Very good, Anthony. Yes, you are
That's what
correct.
I was thinking, but then when you said the discontinued,
Yeah.
The orange peel was discontinued. The orange peel. It was basically a concert or a pep rally thing. Due to budgetary concerns, it has been recently discontinued. So
I think I heard that more as the thing was discontinued, not the orange pill.
I did too.
The state of Oklahoma was discontinued.
all right. So
Oklahoma State University was discontinued.
yes, no. So there you go. Well done, Anthony. 2. Remember, guys, if you can just guess. I mean, if you have sometimes you have to take a gamble. If you're waiting to get all the information, you might not.
We're not waiting to get all the information. We're just waiting to get the right information.
I understand that, but like Anthony seems to be like quick on the connecting the dots.
That's
so I think,
because he's got his screen off so he can Google.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All these wins are with an asterisk. So I'll agree. So there you go. So
Jim's buying me a new computer. I'm waiting for it to show up.
who's buying a new computer?
Jim said he was buying me a new computer.
Aldi's buying a new computer. That's cool.
No, Jim Felly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what he says on the show. I have it.
Nice. All right. So, here we go. Item number 4. Anthony leads 2-1. Started in 1859. Invented by Henry Chadwick. In 1992, Seattle attempted but failed to get rid of theirs.
Who?
Seattle attempted but failed to get rid of theirs. They earn $150 a game. Final clue. In 2001, a rookie one of these cost Hideo Nomo a no-hitter and was ordered not to score another game the rest of the year by the Boston Red Sox.
Anthony.
Go ahead.
Official scorer.
That is correct. It is the official score of Major League Baseball. Anthony, you are just crushing. You've got to just be discontinued from this. I think Joe, where's you were my dark horse.
I have no idea. I was gonna say officiating services, but that wasn't right.
Well, I would have at least let you at least ring in. Come on, Maurice, at least ring in with something.
I had no clue till you got to the last one, and you said scoring, and I'm like, official scorer.
I don't even know that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think okay. Item number 5. It's still anybody's game, but you have a climb coming up here. So, okay, item number 5. Born September 15th, 1946.
Omar Sharif. David. Omar Sharif.
That is incorrect. David, you are out for the rest of this clue, but I admire your attempt. I admire you.
That should have been.
I admire you. I admire you giving a shot. So thank you for ringing in, David.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so redoing the first clue. Born September 15th, 1946. Military awards include the Bronze Star, the Purple Heart, the Air Medal, the Army Commendation Medal, the National Defense Service Medal, the Vietnam Service Medal, the Vietnam Campaign Medal, and the Combat Infantryman Badge. Once took a class in college taught by Martin Scorsese.
Anthony.
I know what it is now. Damn it.
Oliver Stone is correct. Yes. He volunteered to be in the military and asked for duty in Vietnam and was wounded twice. Did not know that.
Omar Sharif. Much cooler.
Omar Sharif is still not the answer. Just, you know.
Sex worker.
Sex worker. Oh, man. I had high hopes for Keith. He jumped out ahead, and then after that, it's been the all Anthony show. So, all right. So here we go. Is everyone ready?
Yep.
Maurice, does your microphone work?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
Hello. Yeah.
Just making sure you're still there.
Yep.
All right. Here we go. Item number 6. Released in 2003. Starred 3 members of the Frat Pack. Won the Taurus Award for Best Fire Stunt. Directed by the writer of Road Trip.
Anthony.
Go ahead, Anthony.
Old school.
Correct. Oh, you guys are like just a half a second behind.
Yeah, when he says name, I'm like, before I said
the whole game. I didn't know that was even a fucking movie.
You never seen Old School with Will Ferrell? Plays Frank the Tank?
You're my boy,
No.
Blue.
You're my boy, Blue. Really? Okay. I mean, that's fine.
It
Keith?
tastes so good when it passes lips.
All right, so that was item number 6. Anthony with 5. Keith with 1. Everywhere else is asleep. Basically, you guys need to start like running the table, or I need to mute Anthony. That's, I think, the only chance any of you have.
Again, 1 a.m.
Okay, you're okay. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Item number 7. A void between bodies. The Kármán line denotes its beginning. Contrary to wide-standing belief, it is not empty.
It's not what?
Keith.
Maurice.
Keith is first.
Outer space.
Yep, outer space is correct. There you go. All right, Keith, way to go. And Maurice, I'm proud of you. You rang in even though it was after Keith. So, first visited in 1959, first visited in person in 1961. So, well done. Keith, with 2, you've put a single figure into the cracks of the dam, though, it is what it is. So,
Quick, get some spackle.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So, Joe, how you doing?
Bad.
Yes. Okay. Just checking in. All right. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Item number 8. Born July 9th, 1947.
Keith.
Keith?
Omar Sharif.
I knew he was going to say that.
So did I.
That is incorrect. That is incorrect. Keith, you are out. You are out. Born July 9th, 1947. An accomplished actor, appearing in dozens of movies and TV shows. Currently resides in Nevada, at least until 2017.
Anthony.
Go ahead,
That's
Anthony.
a good clue.
Orenthal James Simpson.
Yes, Orenthal James Simpson, better known as, yes, currently resides in Nevada, at least until 2017.
Oh, if I had been a smartass, I would have got this one right.
Don't be putting his birth date in there. Jeez.
Played defensive back for City College of San Francisco from 1965 to 1966. He was their defensive back there. And then, of course, acquitted for a double murder on October 3rd, 1995 that pretty much everybody agrees he did. All right, so, well, I shouldn't say everybody. There's still some people out there.
He doesn't think he did it.
Perhaps. All right, here we go. I think Anthony's sewn it up, but, well, actually, no. If Keith runs the table, he can tie.
Keith's not going to do it.
All right, so here we go. But this is for prizes, cash and prizes. So depending on what people tweeted and what have you. So
if I get one, I'm going to consider it a victory.
That's what a lot of people think of when I think so. All right, so here we go. Item number 9 is the title of a video game. Is the title of a comic book series. Is the title of a franchise of films. Is the name of an album by my personal favorite ska band, the Stubborn All-Stars. Is a term that declares the beginning of a hunting period in which it is legal.
Keith.
Maurice.
Keith.
Open seasons.
Yep.
Open season is correct. Keith, you're one of 4 done that you have answered correctly, and therefore you are still in the hunt. The rest of you are playing spoiler and just well, Maurice, you're chiming in. I'm so proud of you. It's really good. All right, so here we go. David, have you ever? David, next week I'll have to do all music answers, and then like you'll get like 10 right.
I basically tied last, so don't even start with me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so here we go.
Yeah.
Born April 10th, 1932.
Omar Sharif.
That's correct, David.
I almost did it for shits, and
I couldn't say it, even though they posted the date of birth in the chat, and we all saw it. I had to let David.
Oh, I didn't see it in the chat.
Yeah, that's what I said. Don't be posting that stuff in the chat.
Oh, look at you guys cheating. So died July 10th, 2015. Bragged about smoking 100 cigarettes a day until having a triple bypass in 1992. Was once ranked in the top 50 contract bridge players in the world, and winner of 3 Golden Globe Awards and nominated for an Academy Award for his role in Lawrence of Arabia.
To be fair, I would have guessed Omar Sharif anyway. I knew he was about that old.
All right, David's out of guesses.
Yeah. All right.
He knows.
So Keith's going to win, but we still have.
Gonna win.
No, Anthony's going to win. So, but we still have 2 left, and these are important because of tweeting and whatever. So here we go. The first historically recognized instance was on December 14th, 1907. Currently, there are 3 occurring right now.
Joe.
Joe.
Ocean swells.
That is incorrect, but I'm proud of you for ringing in, Joe.
It's probably not even a thing, but it could be. Right?
Yes. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Well done, Joe. All right. So, item number clue number 3 can be a fire hazard and impact economies. Humans like to affect them with bioremediation, burning, disbursements. Keith.
Oil slick.
That is incorrect. I will. David.
Oil spill.
Oil spill is correct. Yes, it is an oil spill.
Thank you.
Oil slick is very good. Yes, humans like to affect them with bioremediation, burning, dispersants, dredging, skimming, and watching and waiting. Watching and waiting is like one of the things they list as dealing with them to see how.
I protest that it's bullshit.
Well,
I didn't know there was 3 of them going on right now.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I was like sitting there and I was like Googling it, and there was like, there's 3 oil spills going on right now. It's just
because
like
you could have oil on the surface of the ocean coming from an underground well. You didn't spill it; it's leaking out.
But no, like if you Google it, there's like 3 of them that are occurring. Like there's a tanker that's ruptured, and there's like something else like a minor earthquake, like actually like cracked open some pipes underneath the water and like over by India or something.
You don't call it a spill. A spill is an action.
So you're throwing the red flag, and you're
I will. You go ahead. You could argue all you want, but you type in oil spill on the Wikipedia, and they actually have a list of oil spills, and they actually have a list of the 3 that are going right now. So there you go. So you can argue with me, but you can't argue with Wikipedia because that can't be right.
I can't argue with
That's like saying you can't argue with a meme you see on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. So it's on the internet, so it's true. All right. So the last and final one, and Anthony, what are you at right now for your total?
6.
So I don't know if does anybody tweet you Anthony 6? Did anybody tweet Anthony 7?
I didn't look because I thought that wouldn't be fair.
That's true. So like, this might be big.
That's right, Kabuki.
This might be huge. So here we go.
It'd be huge.
Yeah. All right. Last one.
At least I won the popular vote.
Yeah, you did. All right. Clue number 1. Born
Joe.
April. Go ahead, Joe.
This is the only thing I have written down, so I want to just throw it out there, see if it's right. Otis Spunkmeyer.
I don't even know who that is. That's
the cookie guy.
The cookie guy.
I believe
Is this
you.
the last clue?
This is the last clue. Yes.
That is all I had written down, so might as well have tried it.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
You should get a point just for being that original.
Yeah.
Did you say born?
Yes. Born April 28th, 1908.
Oscar Schindler, Maurice.
Maurice, well done. You got one right. There you go. Yes, it is.
No, it down. He said his name last.
Wow.
It counts. Correct. So, yes, died October 9th, 1974. Personal documentation that belonged to them were placed on eBay in 2013 for $3 million. A suitcase that belonged to them was found in 1997. The contents were verified and sent immediately to a museum in Israel. And he is the only member of the Nazi Party to be buried at Mount Zion, Israel.
All right, let's check the votes.
Let's go underneath the
Okay, let's go. John Edwards said Keith with 5. John White said Keith with 5. Paul Tompkins, Anthony with 7, and Maui Chris, Anthony with 7.
Oh, so we have Chris and Paul tying for the win.
No. I only got 6.
You only got 6?
Lost.
Oh, you only got 6, so nobody won.
Nobody wins.
Nobody wins. All right,
I win, but nobody else wins.
Yes.
Since you all lost, you all get a copy of Jab.
You all get a copy of Jab, and have to play it. No. Okay. Well, so next week we'll just have a more better prize than like a copy of Flip City, which is what I was originally going to send out. So,
all right, I have to go check on my turkey. It's outside. Hold on, I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. So that's Anthony.
Yes, my turkey's outside.
Are you? What are you doing? Are you smoking it, or what are you doing?
No, it's brining in a 5-gallon bucket.
Oh yeah, I brine my turkeys too.
No, I peed in that while ago. Just so you know.
I just got. I mean, it's covered. I just got to make sure that something doesn't knock it down the stairs. So I'll be back in a minute.
All right. What's gonna knock it down the stairs? Why wouldn't you just put it on like the pavement or something? That doesn't make any sense to me. Well, I thought you all did a very good job. At least you rang in.
Surprised you don't know who the cookie guy is.
Well, I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't.
I can't believe there wasn't an Old Spice question.
Yeah.
Oh, Old Spice was my was one of my tiebreakers in case we needed it. So yeah.
Lotus Spunkmeyer cookies are the cookies that are always in the vending machine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Never even heard of them. They're not distributed up in the north here, I'm guessing, and I'm not a big cookie guy anyway. So, and just Otis Spunkmeyer, oh so good.
Mm-hmm. They're good.
Yeah. If you like cookies, I guess. I'm not a big cookie guy. Never have been. I'm not a big fan of baked goods. I don't know what it is.
They're really famous for doing the fundraising cookies, where you buy the frozen cookie dough from like kids in school.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, I went to Mrs. Peregrine's School for Peculiar Children with my daughter this evening. That's why we started up late, and that wasn't bad. It had some editing issues. It just seemed like kind of like jump ahead, unnecessarily. Like they left some exposition on the floor of the cutting room, but not bad.
Was it Tim Burton does the X-Men?
No. I mean, it was the thing about it that was weird. It was very like kind of weirdly. I mean, the monsters that are the things that are like that try to track down and and kill the peculiars. They're like really freaky looking. I mean, like ridiculous. They look like something out of a Lovecraftian horror. I mean, they really do.
They really do. But it kind of reminded me of something else, but I couldn't place what it was.
Well, the real long legs kind of reminded me of the Skeksis a little, way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and they move kind of unnaturally, just like and kind of weird. And so but then so you've seen it, David?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, so did you kind of so they're kind of like doing the whole and I don't want to give too much away about the movie, but basically they're being, they have the big, like the final showdown thing or whatever. And first of all, I mean, then it almost like got cartoony at that point. Yeah, it was like weird. It was like, it was really dark and kind of, scary. Cool. And then all of a sudden it just took this really weird light, like almost comical,
yeah, it's like all of a sudden it's a kid's movie.
Yeah, it was just like it felt really disjointed. I thought they spent 2/3 of the movie building up to be really, really just have this really, really kind of almost dread feeling in the movie, and then they just.
Although, I will say that Samuel L. Jackson's character was cartoony.
He was, and I don't know. It was just, it was like, did you feel like they just left a lot of crap on the floor too? Like the old guy in the wheelchair wearing the glasses or whatever. It's just kind of like.
I mean, I think they probably
do something with him. I don't know. It's just like, and I don't know. And then the twins. Okay, they spend the whole movie kind of like hiding what the twins have as their power or whatever. And they just kind of, and then they reveal it, and it's just kind of like, why aren't you using them to do everything? I mean, this is like, I don't know.
Not asking for no spoilers.
What?
All they wanted, no spoilers.
Well, I mean that's fine. I'm trying not to give anything specifically away, but it was just some weird. It was still enjoyable. My daughter said that it wasn't at all like the books. It like really detached itself from the books pretty hardcore. So.
I've gotten to the point where I almost dismiss Tim Burton films out of hand, but it does sound like it might be worth a watch.
I kept on waiting for his crazy wife to show up, and she never did. So,
Yeah.
Has anyone seen The Arrival yet? I know it came out while everyone was at BGG.CON, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about it.
I've heard both positive and negatives on it. So, I got a buddy who's like a big fan of that type of movie, and he actually came out of it really like meh, so
Well, people were thinking it was going to be like an alien invasion movie or something like that, and it's more of a Inception-y kind of a think piece type of a movie. Is from what people have said.
Yeah, I don't know. I've kind of given. I mean, I've kind of given up on movies that are going to be all thinky because I've just been so disappointed in a lot of them recently. It always seems like I end up. It always seems to me like either the director always like tries to. I don't like, and I've said this many times. I really don't like when there's an ambiguous ending to a movie. I always just get annoyed with that.
That Scarlett Johansson movie a couple years ago that came out.
Was that the one where like she's like unlocks all the potential of her brain or something like that?
Lucy.
Not Eve. There's something else. She's naked in half the movie.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. She's like the weird like alien or whatever.
Yeah.
Or,
Species.
No, not Species.
No.
The only alien movie I can think where she's naked or where someone's naked.
She barely talks. She barely talks in the entire movie.
Really abstract kind of thinky piece that you really have to be into indie art noir type films to really get it and enjoy it.
Hold on, I'll find it. It's
on Netflix.
Under the Skin is what it was called, and it opens up really really weird, and then just like it's very weird and thinky, and it's just kind of like, it's and like I don't think if she doesn't talk much if at all,
Well, either way, Doctor Strange didn't suck, so at least the year isn't a loss.
Right.
The what now?
Doctor Strange didn't suck, so at least the year isn't a loss for movies.
Yeah, I mean, well, there was a couple of good movies this year. I don't go to as many movies as I used to. I
try to go catch the ones that are like, you should see this in theater, and then everything else I'll wait on. But one I did see that I was actually really impressed by was The Accountant with Ben Affleck in it. Came out like a month ago. But that was actually really good. I was surprised. I was like, I wasn't expecting much out of it, but I really did walk away from that really enjoying it.
No, that was just like the that was the one where basically it was he's like got like he's what's what I'm looking for? Like he's got Asperger's or something.
Yeah, like high functioning autism. Yeah.
So and then but he's also can figure out all the numbers and he's a ruthless assassin and blah blah blah.
Well, he just works with like some really dangerous people. I don't know if he's an assassin. It's weird. You'd have to see it. It's really good.
What about the new Harry Potter movie? Has anybody seen that yet?
I haven't. It's one that my wife and my daughter will go to that. They're huge Harry Potter fans. I'm not huge. But I do enjoy them, I guess, on a certain level. But it's something I can definitely wait to see. I don't know.
Not a huge Potterhead myself, but
the movies aren't horrible.
The first two are pretty bad.
Well, they're kids movies.
Yeah,
I mean, they're straight out kids movies. They're not really meant to be anything other than that.
But the third one on, I thought was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I thought Order of the Phoenix was really good. I thought that was like
that's the fifth one.
Yeah, I think it's the fifth. Yeah, I mean it's the fifth.
Is that the one where they have the big fight at the end in the Ministry?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my favorite too.
Yeah, I thought that was really done well. I mean, the fact that they took the last book and turned it into two movies, like for me was just a money grab. It felt like. I mean,
wouldn't you want to make an extra couple $1 billion?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hunger Games did the same thing.
Yeah,
The Hobbit did it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, don't even start in those movies. It was. So
hey, Peter Jackson needed to cash a lot more checks. Okay.
So like the first Hobbit movie comes out, right? So me and my buddy that I've known for a long time, my buddy Joel, we go to the first one, and then so the the second movie comes out, and so the movie theater that we went to, they had a deal where you could watch the first movie, and then at midnight when they released, you'd watch the second movie. And so we watched like 6 hours a movie, right? And then with the same thing happened with the third one, so we ended up watching 9 hours of Hobbit. Give me 1 second, guys.
Is anybody looking forward to Rogue One?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm gonna go see it. I have avoided all spoilers. I have no idea anything about it, but I am gonna go see it.
Darth Vader's in it. Spoiler alert.
I saw the first trailer, but I have tried to avoid everything else from there on. But like all the stuff that people speculate on. But I'm excited. I really enjoyed the 7th movie. I thought it was pretty good.
I try to avoid most spoilers for television shows and movies that I like. So that way you can enjoy it. You know, you can when you go see it in the theater or you watch it on TV, whichever it is, you can see it for the first time without any preconceived notions or expecting anything, and really enjoy it a lot better.
I also heard some really good reviews for M. Night Shyamalan's new movie, and I know he kind of is on a lot of people's crap list, but his last movie was really good. I really enjoyed it. The Visit, I think it was called. But his new one with the guy with split personalities who kidnaps the girls, that's in the trailer anyway. A lot of the first reviews that came back are super positive on that one. They're like, I think he's back to his good stuff. So,
well, if he wanted to get any more funding, he had to come up with some good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Avatar really. I mean, I don't think he would have been nearly in as bad of a shape as he was with his reputation if he didn't do Avatar the way he did. But that just made people so angry. That's still like I think every list in the world is ranked number 1 as the worst movie ever.
That's saying something.
It's pretty universally hated across the board.
I didn't like it either, but I don't think it was the worst movie ever. I guess if you're really into that,
it was
particular.
I guess it was more because people said it like destroyed the source material. Like it was nothing to do with it, and the source material is phenomenal, and it was just really just a stupid movie.
You want to talk about funny things and great shorts. It's been out for a little while, but a lot of people still don't know about it. It was on Kickstarter. If you've not seen it, you got to watch it. It's Kung Fury.
Oh, yeah, I did see that not that long ago.
If you like the 80s movies, if you grew up watching the 80s movies, the police movies and the karate movies and stuff like that, you owe it to yourself. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it was. It's on YouTube, I know that. But you need to spend 26 minutes of your life and watch this movie and laugh your ass off. It's hilarious.
It was interesting. It doesn't hit me because, again, I didn't grow up in the 80s because I'm a child. So it did, like a lot of the references did not land on me because I was born in 89. So.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Wow. I got out of the military in 89.
I do find that when I play board games, especially because like my style of board games is the really heavy stuff, and even like I really enjoy like the 18xx games, is like I always find like I'm half the age of most of the people I play games with, easily half the age.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but the good thing about the board game.
Where do you live?
Me, I'm in Cleveland.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But the great thing about board games, though, is, talking about age, like you said, you'll find you're half the age of people that you're gaming with. And I think that's kind of neat that you can cross ages at the same table and everybody has a great time.
Yeah, I go to a lot of meetups where there's a bunch of people my age. I'm usually the youngest, but there's a lot of people like in their young 30s that I play with. But especially when I get with my groups that play the heavier stuff, it just seems that the ages of people that like those kind of games skew older. For the most part, that I've found.
Well, 3 years ago that might not have been the case, but lately it certainly is because of all the social gaming and everything that's come out. But I think when 2 years back, we were all playing the heavier games because there really wasn't all that much else out there than that. But now that the social gaming has really come along, I think that age divide is starting to happen a little bit more than I would have thought because.
And there's been a huge gaming boom, too. I mean, I think our hobby has probably doubled in size in the last 3 years, easily.
Oh, yeah. You've got more people in the hobby, and Tastes kind of change as do, a lot of it's dictated by your schedule. I mean, if you don't have a lot of time, you're not going to be digging into the deep games because they take some time to learn and strategize through and things like that. And you may not have as much gaming time, and groups kind of come and go, and you may end up playing more social and light games. What's that?
It's hard to net and chill when you're playing TI3. Let's just be honest.
It is. It definitely is.
Yeah. I know that like even in the last like year and a half when I've really gotten into heavier games, because I mean when I first got into the hobby, my group, all they played was like gateway stuff and social stuff, and I was just kind of buying whatever Tom Vassell said was cool. And then in the last year and a half, my tastes have switched completely, where I even just sold off like 300 games out of my collection just because I wasn't going to play them anymore, and that just wasn't where my tastes were. And now, like, I'd be much happier like just taking a day and playing like a all-day 18xx game rather than even just getting in like 5 or 6 different regular games.
Well, yeah, you want quality over quantity, and that's where your tastes are right now. That may change again. You may, as you get older and you get deeper into playing things, you may say, hey, you know what, I need to take a break. You may not even think about it, but you may want to take a break and play something a little like medium to light, maybe even lighter, filler games more often than playing the deeper games. I don't want to say burnout, but sometimes you just want to change things up.
Heresy.
What?
Yeah, it's more that I've just kind of found what I enjoy about the hobby, and I enjoy that sitting down and that deep to strategic kind of choices in my games, and that's my wheelhouse. And so anytime I don't mind lighter stuff, but it just doesn't do it for me.
I would much rather pull out Terra Mystica and play it and just have that be the game of the night than to play 3 or 4 smaller, shorter games, which really don't provide any real experience for me.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I am.
Well, also depends on the group that you're playing with that night too.
I just kick them out and I find the people that want to play the real games.
That's what I've done. I've basically said, you know what, I'm going to find people that want to play heavier games. But my wife likes heavier games too. She's really started liking them, and so like I'm very lucky in that respect.
That is good because you're not going to find. It's not easy necessarily to find a spouse or a significant other that will play the same types of games you like. They'll want to play something lighter or heavier. It's not always that you're in tune like that. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
I had to quit some of my gaming groups because all they wanted to play was the really quick 20-minute social games. Mm-hmm. It was just driving me crazy. All they wanted to play was a DC Deck Builder or some kind of really light game, and I couldn't get any of my games up there.
Yeah, there was a big meetup.
Yeah, Kabuki Kid said she loves wrapping the night up with a party game, though we usually end up with something like Times Up. I mean, that's fun too.
Yeah.
I have like a go-to end of the night game. Like I like playing Deep Sea Adventure. That's my like end of the night. It's like takes 3 minutes to play. Like that's my just go-to end of the night game. But I'm talking about like I'm not going to make a game day out of that.
Right.
Yeah. No. Yeah, game days. I don't know if you can make a game day out of little games like that. I mean, just think about it. Game day, you're talking several hours. How many of those games would you end up playing, and how often?
Well, we've done that here, where we start our game days around noon, and we'll go till about 2 in the morning. And for a couple of the times we had that, people would definitely bring little games in, and they would just want to play them over and over and over and over and over again. And I just quit inviting those people. They were just killing me.
Yeah.
Look at the days to get Mage Wars in, or Twilight Imperium, or big, huge, epic games, Fury of Dracula, where you can play for a while and close to the table that you can't normally get on any other game night. And they would just keep bringing the same old crappy games. And I shouldn't be crappy, but just not what we were shooting for on those kind of days.
And it's just one of those things where people, for some reason, there's a mentality with a lot of gamers where it's like, if I can play more games, I'm doing better. Right. Whereas it's like, isn't it a better experience to play like a more epic, more deep, rich kind of a game?
Well, I think part of that is a couple of things. The number one thing is taking themselves out of their comfort zone. I don't know this subject, or I'm not into this subject, whatever the game is themed around. So I don't want to play it necessarily because I don't want to look or feel stupid. And you know what?
Well,
game for the fun.
The amount of the rules, I think that's what scares them. Is that they think they're not going to be able to play the game.
I hear a lot of game things when I try to get people to play heavier stuff. Is like I hear a lot of people that just themselves, they don't think that they can play them. They're like, oh, I wouldn't want to play that, or I couldn't understand that. And I'm like, yes, you could. Like, you absolutely could play something like this, and I bet you'd enjoy it, but you have to actually want to.
Well, that's the thing. You have to go into a game, a heavy game, not expecting to win like you can, like in Werewolf or something like that. You can learn that game pretty fast, and you can win just by whatever, by being smarter than everyone else in that short little span of time. Whereas you play something else like Kalis or something.
Forever.
What's that?
Come play this with me, and you'll be my friend forever.
There you go.
What was somebody was talking about?
Well, what you do is, these people go and they play these short games and they feel comfortable. But if they were to go into a deeper game, they would not feel as comfortable, and they would think, okay, this game is a waste. It's like, no, it's not a waste because it's a learning game. Take the first game or first, second, third games of a deep game as learning games. Don't go in there expecting to win or trying to win. Not that that's a bad thing, but don't go in there with higher expectations. Just go in there and, hey, this is a new experience. It's a new game. It's a new theme. It's a new designer, whatever. Expand your horizons, and you'll pick up something new and you'll gain something from it. And you may find, hey, I don't really like that type of game, or hey, this is actually pretty cool, but you don't know until you try.
Yeah, the other thing is, like, sometimes like I said, I more recently got into like the war game stuff, and I look at some of them and I'm like, all right, 120 minutes, yeah, 360 minutes, okay. There's some that are like 900 minutes.
Yeah.
And to me, I look at it and I go, I have no problem playing a game for 900 minutes. I don't know if I'll ever find anyone else who will want to play a game for 900 minutes. It's one of those things that if the game is short, even if you don't like the game, at least okay, it's going to be over in 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And other people will be like, oh, this game takes 3 hours. I'm going to be stuck with 3 hours. What if I don't like the game? I'm stuck in the middle of it.
I think we have to remember that some people game just as much for the social aspect as the gamer aspect of it. And I'm much more the gamer aspect than the social aspect.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing is, I'm sorry, I got booted. Heavy gamers get such a bad rap, though, because a lot of people will go play, and a lot of the hardcore heavy gamers that I've met, they're so antisocial, and it's like, you can have fun and talk and joke around and have a good time playing games and play heavy games while you're doing it. And people
I think you have those people that they can't do that and strategize at the same time. And so then if they're one of those people and they're playing with gamers that get really mad because they're not ready for their turn, that can prevent them from wanting to do that as much as well, because some people can't talk and plan at the same time. Well, that's another problem as well. I can do both, but I know that I get guilty, not right away, but after a while. If you have that gamer that is never ready on their turn, and you've got a game where you have a little bit of time between each person's turn, that gets a little old. That does get a little old.
Yeah, and I hate AP, like I really do. And like I play with some people that literally just want to math everything out. And me, I'm so less concerned about winning anything that like I'll just make a move, even if it's not the most adequate move, just for the sake of I don't know exactly what I need to do right now, but I'll just do this thing. But a lot of people just want to sit there and study it.
Well, the good thing is right now is because of this board game renaissance, there are so many games out there. And there are so many new deep heavy games. There are so many even new war games. There are so many new light social games, medium weight games. There's so many games for everyone that it's a great thing, and it's a great problem to have, to decide what game you want to play that day, because you have a great selection out available to us.
You really like the GMT games, don't you?
Yeah, I like one or two of them.
I have all the coin games myself. What do you think about that? Coin games are like some of my favorite. It's one of my favorite systems I've played with.
I think the coin system is really great because you can get non-war gamers to play it when they realize, hey, this is not necessarily, it's really not a war game. It's more of an area control Euro.
That's what I tell people. I'm like, it's a war game for people that like heavy Euros. That's how I explain them to people.
It's a Euro that uses like a military or I should say a conflict from an era in history as its backdrop.
Now, let me ask you, because I own all of them from Andean Abyss all the way to Falling Sky. I just like you do have them on my shelf.
Mm-hmm.
But and I've P500 the next two, Colonial Twilight and Pendragon.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I've gotten to the point though where I really feel that I don't need any more. Like I just don't need any more. I want more.
Sure.
But it's like for at least the first 6 that have come out, I like Fire in the Lake and Liberty and Death better than the other ones, and I don't know if I'd ever pull out any of the other ones over those. Like if I'm going to play a coin game, I'll play Fire in the Lake 9 times out of 10.
Well, that's the thing. It depends on which game resonates with you. I mean, they are. I don't want to say they're the same. They use the same system, but there are unique aspects to each and theme, obviously, as well. But and time and depth. You know, Fire in the Lake's a really long one. That's one I've yet to get to the table. Cuba Libre is very popular because it's small, it's very easily managed, and it's fairly short playing time. You can get that on the table and play it solo, which is the way I prefer to play solo. I haven't even dug into the bots. I prefer to play all 4 sides myself because that actually lets you learn the factions better.
You almost have to do that before you try to get that to the table, because if you don't, teaching one of those things to people raw is almost impossible. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun, but it's the best part about the coin system is it's like we were saying is it's a Euro, it's an area control Euro, and you can really draw in people that would never have considered playing a war game before, and find out not all war games are crusty old boring moving these little counters around and looking at CRTs all day and figuring out modifiers. There's plenty of those, but this is it's a really clever system,
and it's really nice that they made them pretty. Like they don't look terrible like some war games do. Like some war games, I don't care what they look like. I don't care what a lot of games look like, but at least they made those games that are kind of that one that can get you into the other stuff. They made them so beautiful.
Oh yeah, no, their quality. We had talked about it earlier a little bit. Their quality is really good. Their components are fantastic, and as you said, they make them look real pretty, which is important. I mean, regardless whether it's a GMT game or Tasty Minstrel or whoever, if it's not attractive on a table, it doesn't resonate with people as much. Now that doesn't mean that you can't have a good game without that, because Food Chain Magnate is a good example of that. That's not a beautiful game, but it's got a lot of great game in it. So
I feel the success of Food Chain Magnate is going to hurt Splotter almost as much as it helped them. Yeah,
it can be a double-edged sword, because the popularity of it and people wanting it, and then the cost is a little prohibitive for some people, or people go, hey, what am I paying this money for? This isn't like FFG. It's not a big, gorgeous board and all that stuff. Right?
Well, Food Chain Magnate is by far their most accessible, and I would say they're maybe even their lightest game. And so I think people are going to get Food Chain Magnate, get really like, oh, I like this company, and then they're going to buy Roads and Boats or Indonesia, because they just reprinted Indonesia, and they're going to get those games, and it's just going to be like, no, not doing this.
Yeah. Well, it's again, it comes down to everyone has to expand their boundaries a little bit and play different games and try different things. Food Chain Magnate, a lot of people, it's basically the cult of the new. People say, okay, yeah, I'll try it because it's this hot thing. And how many people have been turned on to maybe heavier games because they've played that and say, hey, these are not, heavy is not necessarily a bad thing. Because, I think it does have,
smaller percentage.
What's that?
I would say that's a smaller percentage. You can draw people in like that, but
sure.
Social gamers are social gamers, and they always will be social gamers.
It's funny, at Gen.CON, I was walking around to booths, and as I was looking at some certain games, and I would pick up a game that looked like a Euro game and looked like it was fairly complex, and I'd ask the guy at the booth, I'd be like, what's this about? Just ask him some questions. I'd be like, how heavy is it? And without fail, every single one of them would instantly downplay it. Oh, no, it's not heavy. Super easy, super light. And I'm sitting there like, I like heavy. Like...
Well, it is true. There's there can be a negative connotation to heavy games just because people feel it's intimidating. And the thing about it is, what is considered a heavy game? Is it heavy because it's very dense rules, or is it heavy because there's a lot of thinky parts to it? Because you can have a heavy game and only have a few pages of rules, but because it makes you think in multiple directions or really deep layered strategy, then that's a heavy game.
Well, I know that I'm real good friends with Clay Ross of Capstone Games. He lives by me, and we do a lot of stuff together as far as like just the company is concerned. And he does heavy games. Like his thing right now is he's bringing over those older, super heavy games from Europe that are out of print and that people are paying like $150 for, and he's printing them for American audiences. And I know at Gen Con, we had a huge success because we were like the only ones at Gen Con. I mean, I know Terraforming Mars was there, but we were really the only ones at Gen Con that were offering anything that was heavy or anything that was Euro. And even though there aren't as many of those people at Gen Con as opposed to Essen, since we were the only ones that had it, the people that liked that found us and they were like, oh, this is what I want.
Yeah, it's becoming more of a popular thing. I mean, look at the Heavy Cardboard podcast. They have a great following, and they cover a lot of heavy games. And before, you wouldn't think that heavy games would have a podcast with a really big following or a really strong following like they have. But heavy games are becoming more widely accepted because, as you said a little bit ago, the size of the gaming community has doubled in the past few years, and people are finding that, hey, I like these types of games.
Yeah, and that's kind of the podcast that we're starting is focused on. Ryan Metzler did a lot of really heavy game reviews back in the day, and Clay is kind of the publisher, and then me, that's kind of my wheelhouse too. So that's where we're coming at, because people that really like that style of games are finding that the content for those games is not out there.
Yeah. I mean, I played one of my gaming buddies here, Travis from Low Player Count. I play with those guys a lot, and he introduced me to the train games with Age of Steam, and 18xx games is not something that I was necessarily clawing at the door to get at, but I was like curious. I'd like to try it, but I don't want to try a 6 or 8 hour game right off the bat. I don't want to jump into the deep end without a life preserver. So we did Age of Steam. We did a quick little 2-player game of that, and I really liked the short map, the tiny map. It was like a knife fight in a phone booth. It was really, really fun. So I got it here at BGG.CON. And yeah, I'm going to eventually try an 18xx game.
Did you P500 1846?
No, I didn't. I was going to, and I was actually asked Travis if he was going to do it, and he's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. He's got a few Winsome games. And I was like, well, maybe I'll get it, and then I didn't, but I'll probably end up picking it up.
Pick up 46 because that's a really good intro one, and you can play that with 4 players, all new players, and you can work your way through that game in about 4 hours.
Okay, yeah, that's a good, entry
it's really
level.
good.
Yeah, that's a good entry level time.
And it's real easy. It's real forgiving. It's not a brutal one. Like if you play 1830, that is a brutal game. Like you can just get screwed and end up in a downward spiral, and that can't happen to you in 1846. So it is really accessible.
That's something, that, what were you going to say, David?
Just break it up. I'm heading to bed because I got to get up and drive 3 hours in the morning for Happy Thanksgiving stuff. So.
Oh yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Sorry, I vanished on you guys. I woke up. I was sitting here and I heard a noise and I was like, that's the unmistakable sound of my daughter heaving her guts out. So yeah, she apparently got the stomach flu. So.
Oh no.
She okay?
Well, she'll be fine.
Okay.
She's
Well, day before Thanksgiving, that's terrible.
That's horrible.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, I will be. We have a family dinner tomorrow. I might end up not going to that, depending on how she feels. So, who knows? We'll see what happens.
Anyway, I'm out. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, David.
Here.
You too. Take care.
I remember there was that Poseidon game was actually like a really, really early 18xx game too. That really wasn't. People didn't realize it was an 18xx game.
Yeah, that is if you want the absolute lightest experience that 18xx can offer, Poseidon would give that to you.
I was waiting to say Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, well, no, that's rummy. But Poseidon, and then I would say after that, Steam Over Holland is a super accessible one, and then I would go from there into like 46. But
Yeah, I mean it's that's a era of, or I should say a genre or a subset of heavy games that something you said a couple minutes ago is something I've heard about some of the 18xx games where if you make a mistake or two early on, you're pretty much screwed for the entire game. And
in 1830, if you're playing with hardcore people that know what they're doing, there's an auction at the beginning of 18xx games where you auction off private companies. If you overpay for a private company, you lost the game.
Yeah, and that's the thing right there where I can tell you just personally myself, if I sit down and play a game that's going to be X amount of hours long, or it's going to be, whatever, however deep it's going to be, and I make a mistake in the first turn, that's going to cost me the game. Now, I don't necessarily worry about winning or losing, but if everybody says, okay, well, you've lost the game already at this point, I'd be like, okay, why would I sit here for the next 3 or 4 hours? Something like that where it's that unforgiving to me, I don't find that enjoyable. And not that I want a game to be totally forgiving. It's just, to me, I know some people like the challenge, but to me, it almost feels programmed. Like, okay, don't do this, don't do that. You must do this or this, otherwise you're gonna fall off the bridge. And that doesn't appeal to me necessarily.
And that's the thing with a lot of these games. Like, again, I played Indonesia for that first time, and I kind of had an idea what was going on, but it plays differently than other games of that ilk. So it's things you have to take, into consideration. I lost horribly in that game.
I'm sorry, what are we talking about? I got booted.
Oh, Indonesia.
Oh,
I was talking about now. I'm saying how Indonesia, but it's so different than other games. When you go in and you sit down, you're like, okay, all right, I'm going to buy companies, I'm going to do things, I'm going to ship stuff around, and then all of a sudden, the other guy goes, oh, I'm going to take your company and his company and merge them together. You don't have enough money to pay for it.
And the thing, I could talk about Indonesia for 3 hours, but the beauty of that game is that seeing what the potential for what could happen in a round, going into a round and being able to see what could happen. And because the game just kind of flows and has this ebb to it, that it just goes like in this very interesting rhythm, and just noticing how those companies can go about and what your position in these companies can be and what you can leverage out of it. That merging mechanic is just, it's not in any other games. It's so good.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. And again, I got stomped like a narc at a biker rally, but I thoroughly enjoyed playing the game, and I'm like, I want to play again.
Well, I've just recently gotten an 18xx group that's a bunch of newer players, because I've only been doing it for about a year, the 18xx, and we're a newer group that I have going on now. We've gotten together about 3 or 4 times, and that's nice. But I play a lot with like hardcore 18xx players. I have never one time not come in last place. And I just get my teeth kicked in every time I play with those hardcore groups. But I'm fine with it, because every time I play, I'm like, I'm just going to walk away with one thing to do better the next time I play.
Right. And that's the thing also I will say about the heavier games is, I mean, I play a lot of everything. So, because I'm on the podcast, I have to play, really light stuff. I play medium stuff. Of the heavy games I've played, the games that are considered heavy games, I have not found an issue in any of those games where I said, wow, this really got through playtesting. And that's one of those things that people who complain about the fact that this seems unbalanced and this seems overpowered and this is this. And if you take a chance and try one of these heavier games, you will realize all of the work that went into it to make it that heavy, because the holes that you find in the other games do not exist there.
It feels like they're just designed differently. Like, in my mind, there's Euros, there's heavier Euros, and then there's these games that just don't really fit into that category, but are super heavy. Like, to me, an 18xx game or an Arkwright or something like that, or a Food Chain Magnate, that doesn't fit into the heavy Euro category. That's its own separate thing, almost like an economic system. You know what I mean? And to me, those games, you can see the design in those games, and I don't think that they break in the way that Euro games can often break.
Right, and the thing is too, it's like look at things like Arkwright, and look at even things like we talked about Madeira earlier. My first time I played Madeira, people were like, "Oh, that game's really heavy," and I'm like, "Okay, well, let's see." We sat down, and we played. And there's a lot of moving parts to it, but the game itself really is not heavy.
Right.
Madeira is heavy because of the fact that you have to. It's so. You have to work so backwards to get to where you need to be, kind of thing. It's just. I
love Madeira, and I think the one thing that Madeira does that no other game has done yet, no other game that I've ever played has done this, where when you select an action, you are bundling 5 or 6 other things into it. When you make one choice in that game, it affects so many other things, and you have to take all that into account. Like even when you choose your turn order, I'm choosing my turn order, and I'm choosing a contract that I have to fulfill before the end of the game, and I'm choosing the dice that I'm going to take, and I'm choosing the bonuses that I'm going to get. And it's like just in your turn order, you've chosen those things.
And Feudum does that to some degree, which is one of the reasons why I really liked Feudum.
Oh, I'm excited about that. As far as heavy games go, though, I still think of all the games that I've played this year that are new to me, the best game I've played this year is still, I think, Yokohama. I really enjoy that game. And it's not super heavy.
No, that's medium, in my opinion.
It's medium, but there's weight to it. It's a good, meaty style game. Mm-hmm. Like there's you can sink your teeth into it, even though it's not a super heavy game. There's a lot of stuff in it to really kind of grab onto. I still cannot get that game out of my mind since I played it Origins.
Yeah, but you said right there, it's a meaty, middleweight Euro. To other people, they may consider that heavy. So
a lot of people would.
It's kind of subjective as to what people are, what they're expecting out of a game, what they're willing to throw into a game. Because like you were saying before, you play with some hardcore 18xx guys, and you come in last every time. But it's like a sport. If you really like that, you play with some, other rookies basically, and you work together, you support each other to get better and understand the game better. But then you play with the pros, shall we say, and you get knocked around, but hey, you get better incrementally every time you play.
I would say that a lot for what you said, though, that Yokohama, I think your average gamer would find that at the top end of what their heaviness scale that they would be willing to play. Yeah.
And, which is good, because maybe they'll say, hey, this wasn't as bad as I thought. And then somebody could turn and say, that's a fairly heavy game. And it's not, it's not big and massively crunchy, but it's not a simple, game.
Yokohama's biggest problem is just going to getting people to sit down at the table, because it looks so intimidating.
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody's level of intimidation is different. My wife, I try to get her to sit down and, play different Euros. And when I put out Lords of Waterdeep for the first time, she's like, oh, no, that's too much. There's too many pieces. And I showed it to her. I broke it down, and she said, okay. She had a little trepidation. And then I walked her through it. And at the end of the game, she goes, oh, that wasn't hard. I said, see, I told you.
Yeah, when you look at the number of moving parts in games, that's overwhelming to people, and they go, oh, this is too much, it's heavy and whatnot. But once you break it down and look at it, it's really not. There are games that have hundreds of pieces moving around, and you have to go here, and there's this board here, and this thing over here, and you sit there and you go, oh my god, this is insane. Kanban is one of those games where people look at it and they're like, oh, I can't figure this out. I'm like, okay, let me take the board and imagine it's 6 different little boards.
Yeah.
As opposed to all being on one board. Okay, on this board, this is what you can do here. On this board, this is what you can do here. And they're like, oh, well, that makes sense. I'm like, you just see it all in front of you, one big blob, and you get scared. I just punched a GMT game yesterday, 736 counters. And I had them all laid out on the table, and my son comes over and he goes, I'm not playing that. And I'm like, no, they're all like little army men. Each little piece of cardboard is like a little army man. He's like, oh, okay, maybe I'll play it.
But how many of those 736 counters are actually going to be in play in that game, though? That's the other thing, too.
Right. But the whole thing is, when you look at it, it's very intimidating.
Yeah, and you play heavier games, Anthony, and you'll find that the really heavy games like Food Chain Magnate or Indonesia or something like that, it's really simple what you do on your turn. Like it's not a hard game to play. The heaviness doesn't come from rules, you know? There's a lot of rules in Kanban, and it's not as heavy as those. There are very few rules in those games. It's just the depth of the gameplay and how to turn what you're doing into a winning strategy.
It's how well you can flowchart it in your head, basically. It's you have to understand, okay, I've got these 3 options, but these 3 options can do this, that, and how it branches out, and then again how it's going to carry your strategy through the game.
Well, boys, I'm sure you had a great conversation, but I have a little girl who is begging for Dad to come and lie down next to her because her stomach hurts so bad. So, yeah, so Daddy calls, so I need to go and be the hero or whatever. So, it was really good having you all on, Joe. I sincerely hope that you get more days off that'll allow you to do this more often.
It probably isn't going to happen. I mean, my 3rd shift job. It's
just, good because I didn't really want you to ever. So
I just wanted to promote my podcast. I'm using you as free advertising.
Well, I will edit that out actually before this goes.
You don't edit this.
Oh, you don't. Oh, you don't know.
I know.
But all right. So
I'm still pissed you didn't read my ghost story.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
No, I sent you like a 3-page ghost story. I figured maybe it was too long, but like you didn't even read it. Like I was like, oh well, I guess I just didn't.
I don't think we got it, dude.
Lance at Weekly Alaboom.
No, it was. I honestly don't think we got it because we read every single one that we got.
Wow. Huh.
We'll send it and we'll all act out parts next time.
Yeah, if I had gotten it, Joe, we would have read it. Honestly.
Oh, that's fine. I didn't think much of it. I was just like, I know you had said something to the effect of, we're going to read the 6 best ones. Some of them just aren't good for the show or whatever.
Well, there were some that were like literally like 4 sentences. Like,
well, mine was like 3 pages. So I was like,
I can honestly say I did not get a 3-page long ghost story.
Okay.
And especially if it had been for you, I would have made Anthony read it. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I do feel really bad though.
We hate each other, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Just anger and hatred just pouring out of us.
That's right. We get mad at each other by complimenting each other on games we play.
Yeah.
Yes.
And listening to each other's podcasts.
I hear what Anthony says about you after.
I'll fix you. I'll listen to your podcast. I'll subscribe on iTunes and on Stitcher.
I don't even remember what
leave bad reviews, right?
What the whole thing was about. It was like a Shadows of Brimstone thing, wasn't it? Like you went on a rant against the Shadows of Brimstone guys.
Yes, and you called me a stinky loser.
But that's like your thing. That's your shtick. Is that you like? That's like what you're known for. Is like going on rants about stuff.
I don't give a crap thing, so I'll just say what's on my mind. So.
But you can't say what's on your mind because then you don't get free games. Don't you know the rules, the podcaster rules?
Oh, I don't care. Like I said, I got a couple gallons of gasoline and a whole box of matches.
All right. Well, it is late. But hey, Lance, I have one question for you. Do you know when your Tasty Minstrel podcast is going to get off the ground?
We're hoping before the end of the new year, but we've just run into like problems with the music and a lot of things. We recorded a bunch of episodes, but now because of the time between like getting all the stuff we wanted to actually have it done, those recordings are unfortunately out of date because they reference things that have already happened, and so we have to go back in and re-record certain episodes. So it's a situation where next week I'm going to re-record with Michael and do the first one, and then hopefully we'll be able to get that up and out there.
Yeah. So, Tasty Minstrel has recently become the Asmodee of board game reviewers. You're just buying them up left and right.
Yeah, I mean, and hey, tell you what, if you get more than 7 subscribers to your show, maybe we can absorb you as well. So,
well, I literally think just having Clay from Capstone on there and Ryan Metzler on there, I mean, that's just going to draw people that like that kind of.
I don't know. You've only said their names like 6 times. Who are those people again?
Yeah.
Name drop.
Name drop.
That's right.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, but no.
Can I promote something since Joe got to promote something?
No.
I want everyone to go to
Your sex tape?
Follow my new Twitter account. Lance is an ass.
Nice. Well, that's fine. But I really, really like. In all honesty, I really do enjoy all the good work you've done with the Secret Cabal, Anthony. I think it's quite well done.
Get my face with that.
I don't know. I don't think Anthony can be in the Secret Cabal anymore now that he's trashed Stronghold like he did.
I didn't trash Stronghold. I made it a point, and I would say, if
you're in the Secret Cabal, you have to kiss Steven's ass, dude. That you have to.
Like, I go to Jeff Engelstein's house every year, like around the holidays. He has a game day, and Steven's usually there. He's not going to be there this year, and Steven knows. I would tell him to his face, so it's not like I'm hiding over here on the internet, and he's not going to see it.
Well, guys, hey, did you see just as one final thing, we were talking movies, and I wanted to mention this before I had to leave. So did you see, I'm one of the few people that actually kind of liked Prometheus, because I think I liked what it was trying to say or do with the idea. I mean, I don't think it really accurately, I don't think it did a good enough job. I mean, there was a lot of things in there. There were so many, like, moments where I was just kind of like, but I liked the mythology aspect of it. I liked the whole, like it was bigger, than just like what it was showing you on the screen. So I kind of appreciated that. But did you see that they actually have a definitive for Alien Covenant, which is supposed to be like, I guess, the bridge between Prometheus and the 1979 movie Alien? And it's coming out. It's coming out in May 19th of 2017.
Nice.
And if you Google up they released the first ever like poster for it, and it's just got like the alien head like kind of half in shadows and what have you, and all it says is "run." That's all it says. Nice. Yeah, it's very very it's very good as far as that goes. So, but.
Well, I get to hang out with Kabuki Kid on Saturday, so that's all I got to say.
Oh, really? Where at?
At Jeff Engelstein's house.
Oh, well, I just saw Jeff Engelstein, and we had fun time making fun of you, so.
I think not.
You saying we didn't have fun?
No, I think you did not make fun of me.
Oh, well, that's what you know.
You might have. Jeff didn't, because Jeff is a fine individual.
No, Jeff and I hung out and talked at BGG.CON. And then I think we made one mention of you and saying how you were too cool for school to show up.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't show up. That's why I didn't show up. If someone paid my way to go, I'd go.
Well,
if I was like a special VIP guest or something.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can figure that out someday. But all right. Well, thanks to everyone who took the time to watch us live. Thanks also to everyone who took the time. Hey, if you do see Kabuki Kid, please make sure you take a picture for.
I already told her. I said we're gonna take a selfie together so they can see that you're real.
Well, and also make sure it's at least off a little bit to the side so we can tell it isn't like a two-dimensional standee that you're just standing next to.
I'll have her periscope you.
There you go. All right. So thanks to everybody who took the time to watch us. That's awesome. Any of those of us who are watching after the fact, of course, thank you as well. I don't know. Anybody have anything they want to say? Maurice, you should be on again sometime.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime, just give me a heads up, and a little bit more of a heads up than tonight. I was actually kind of in the middle of doing stuff, but good thing is I ain't working tomorrow, so it was good.
All right, good deal. All right, good night, everybody. Hey, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Hope your daughter feels better.
Yeah, so do I. She was looking forward to seeing all of her cousins tomorrow, so hopefully she'll feel well enough to go. So,
good deal. Hopefully.